We give praise, glory, and honor to the Most High Yah by way of Yahushua HaMashiach, our Savior and King. And let's look at John 5 and 39. 5 and 39. You know, remember what we was looking at last night? That word in Numbers 21, for dig a well, it means to search. So that's what we always got to remember. Just what we usually start with every time. That's what you got to remember. You got to search. And it says, search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me, and you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. So, Psalms 107. Psalms 107. Psalms 107 and verse 4. Psalms 107 and verse 4. We got some, hold on one second. We got a lot of things to look at. A lot of things to look at. Psalms 107 and verse 4. Psalms 107 by verse 4. Let me see something here. So when we look at Psalms 107 and 4, it says they wandered. Matter of fact, let's look at verse 1. It says, "Oh, give thanks unto Yahuwah, for he is good, for his mercy endures forever. Let the redeemed of Yahuwah say so, whom we have redeemed from the hand of the enemy." Now, we were talking about last night, right? The word shalom means to what? Destroy the authority attached to chaos. So when we turn around and we look at being redeemed from the hand of the enemy, we need to turn around and we need to look at Exodus chapter 1. What's that? Exodus chapter 1. And let's look at who this enemy is. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. We're just going to look at who this enemy is. Exodus chapter 1. Exodus 1, and let's look at verse 7. "And the children of Yasharal were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. There arose up a new king over Mizraim, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Yasharal are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply and it come to pass that when there fall out any war, that they join also unto our enemies and fight against us. So get them out of the land. Therefore they did set them over them taskmasters to afflict them with burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Yasharal." So what we sitting back looking at is obviously Pharaoh is the enemy, right? And there's a lot of chaos going on with the children of Yasharal. Why so? Because we're being afflicted, right? Usually when you got an affliction, there's some chaos going on. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of trouble going on. So now we had to sit back and look at, you got to sit back and look at this here. Hold on, let me read it. I don't say it wrong. So again, when we turn around looking at the Shan, the Lamar, the U, and the Ming, to destroy the authority attached to chaos. Now we come over here to Exodus, right? Exodus chapter 6, if I'm not mistaken. What was it? Exodus 9. Exodus chapter 9, my apologies, verse 14. And it's something different that I've been holding this for about 5 months. That maybe Most High willing will come back to what this is talking about and tie this into Mashiach, but we're not going to do it at this particular moment in time. It said, for I will at this time send all my plagues upon thy heart and upon thy servants and upon thy people, that thou may know that there is none like me in all their rest. For I will stretch out my hand that I might smite thee and thy people with pestilence, and thou shalt be cut off from their rest. And in very deed, for this cause have I raised thee up, for to show in thee my power, that my name may be declared throughout all their rest. Now this is talking about Mashiach on another level. This man said, I raised you up for the explicit purpose to show my power that my name might be declared. This ain't really an actual truth, got nothing to do with Pharaoh. You know what I'm saying? But then when we turn around and we look at it, though, on the natural side, the person who's causing the chaos, who the chaos is attached to, said, I must destroy you out of the earth. You know what I'm saying? Now, we're not going to read the story. Because remember, just we reading the Psalm 107, he said, look at the mercy. He has destroyed the enemy. Now, we turn around and we look at, we know, let me see something here. Just give me one moment. Let me see something here. Just give me one moment. Let me see something. Let me see if that works. There we go. Boom. Boom. When we look at Pharaoh, his name equals to great house. You know what I'm saying? So I say, spiritually, searching and digging, you're going to get Mashiach from this. You know what I'm saying? But now he's sitting back saying that he's got to destroy the great house. Now, we sit back and look at, he that has committed sin is the servant of sin and can't abide in the house forever. So basically, get Revelation chapter 11. We come right back to Hebrews chapter 9. But let me see something. Something in Revelation chapter 11, verse 1 come on, man. 11 and 1. It says, and there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the Malachim stood, saying, rise and measure the temple of Elohim, and the altar, and them that worship therein. But the court that which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not. For it is given unto the Gentiles, and the Kadesh city shall be tread underfoot 42 months. So there's a great house outside the great house. You know what I'm saying? This is where they gonna dwell at. To sit back and same people who outside this court to measure it. You know what I'm talking about? Who outside of this place. That's why we can sit back and look at. That's why you got two Jerusalems. That's why the man of sin will come to the other one. Because I measured this area. No, he can't have that one there. Sit him outside the court. You know what I'm saying? You're not coming through here. We'll deal with the two Jerusalems at another time. Because, I mean, you could actually read that in the book, not just saying how people say it's two of them. It's literally two of them in this book. So, you know what I'm saying? You got the one that's in Hebron, and then you got the one that people presently go to. The one that's in Hebron is the one that David conquered first. You know what I'm saying? The other one is later, because you will read and then we'll look at it later. They couldn't get the Jebusites out of the land. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Why is this thing even coming up? We don't want that. So, like I say, most high willing, we'll look at that another time. But what we're talking about is this. Pharaoh name means great house. Now he has to destroy this great house because remember how he sit back and look at it. The house of bondage. This is what he called Mizraim the whole time. We were in a great house. He had to bring us out of this great house. He had to bring us up out of bondage. You know what I'm saying? Pharaoh had you attached to that. So when we look at 1 Corinthians 15 real fast, we see that what he was attached to, that enemy, he's got to destroy him that is attached to chaos. You know what I'm saying? So we done looked at in the past, Pharaoh was attached to the chaos. He was bringing death on the people. This man was literally slaughtering our babies. You know what I'm saying? You don't even turn around and look at it. Pharaoh get killed in the end to go along with what the book say, and the last enemy that should be destroyed is death. Pharaoh's the one gave the order for death. Who was the one giving order for death? But Hashatan. You know what I'm saying? He the one causing the chaos. A lot of people sit back and look at, you want peace in your life, you want shalom in your life, get the agent of chaos out of you. Get the sinners and the sin from around you. Because until you do that, you'll never have that. 1 Corinthians 15 and 23. But every man in his own order, Mashiach, the first fruits, afterwards they that are Mashiach's at his coming. Then come the end, when he shall deliver up the kingdom to Elohim, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power. For he must reign till he have put all enemies under his feet. The last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. For he hath put all things under his feet. But when he saith all things are put under him, it is manifest that he is accepted, which did put all things under him. And when all things shall be subdued unto him, then shall the Son also himself be subject unto him that put all things under him, that Elohim may be all in all. When we turn around and you sit back and look at it, Moses came up to be able to set up the kingdom of Elohim, but he wasn't the one who ended up delivering it. You know what I'm saying? Yahushua son of Nun is the one who ended up delivering it. You know what I'm saying? He the one that actually brought these people in. But Moses was the one that actually put the enemy up under his feet. But all enemies wasn't put up under Moses' feet because there were more enemies to come, and we already know, right? When you sit back and look at it, right, the enemies that we came at, Amalek. You know what I'm talking about? Moses put them up under his feet. They smashed them people. You know what I'm talking about? You look at the Amorites. You look at the Moabites. You know what I'm saying? Moses smashed all these people. Are these not the enemies? Did he not subdue all these people's cities? Y'all don't sit back and realize he's trying to bring all these people into subjection. And most are willing, if we were to take our time and really look at all the stories, that's a whole nother thing of every group of people that Moses came and overthrew. It's going to point to how Mashiach come to overthrow everything you sitting back looking at. Because you got to destroy when you look at destroying the authority attached to chaos. Here come Balaam, dealing with the king of Peor, dealing with Moab. He trying to come and cause chaos. You know what I'm talking about? So he had to destroy the authority that was attached to that chaos by destroying these kings. Every king that you sit back and you look at that we could read in the law when we were going through the wilderness was the authority that was attached to chaos. Because their particular job and objective was to try to distort and discourage and stop us from receiving the inheritance. Does that sound like somebody to you? You know what I'm saying? That's what Hashatan tried to do. That's why the people got worried. Oh, the giants in the land, the people in the land, the authority that's attached to chaos. That's why. Look at Numbers 13. We still holding Exodus chapter 9. Let's look at Numbers 13. We still holding Psalms 107 and Exodus chapter 9. But come over here and look at Numbers 13. Numbers chapter 13. About verse 24. The place was called the brook of Eshcol because of the cluster of grapes which the children of Yasharal cut down from thence. And they returned from searching of the land after 40 days. And they went and came to Moses and to Aaron and all the congregation of the children of Yasharal into the wilderness of Paran, to Kadesh, and brought back word unto them and unto all the congregation, and showed them the fruit of the land. And they told him and said, we came into a land whither thou send us, and surely it flow with milk and honey, and this is the fruit of it. Nevertheless, the people be strong that dwell in the land, and the cities are walled and very great. Moreover, we saw the children of Anak there. The Amalekites dwell in the land of the south, and the Hittites and the Jebusites and the Amorites dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea and by the coast of Jordan. And Caleb stilled the people before Moses and said, let us go up at once and possess it, for we are able to overcome it. But the men that went up with him said, we will not be able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. See, you see what a lot of times, right? As people come up against Hashatan, and they end up giving him a lot more credit than he deserved, to say he is stronger than me. You know what I'm saying? Because they looked at that they were in a weak state. But you see that Caleb coming to steal the people, he's trying to give them shalom, understand, we can destroy this authority that is attached to chaos. Because right now the people are scared. They got walled cities, they got this, they got that. They stronger than us. See, I want you to sit back and look at something, Romans 16 and 20. Yeah, 16 and 20. We had to sit back and look at abiding in Mashiach is going to allow you to abide in a power that's able to do. Because that's all Hashatan is attached to, is chaos. That's why these people were so scared and they were chaotic. When you look at being chaotic, man, that means you're all over the place. You know what I'm saying? You're terrified and you're confused. One of the things that the so-called elite like to use is the order out of chaos. They like to cause situations that cause chaos and then come up with a solution to manipulate the people to how they want them to move out of the chaos that they created. You know what I'm saying? Because chaos don't do nothing but bring confusion. That's why Elohim's not you don't never see Elohim confusing nobody. Everything is pretty much straight and right down the middle. When it's Hashatan that come with confusion. You know what I'm saying? And in order to get that confusion and that chaos from amongst you, you have to destroy him that has the authority of it. That's why we see all these kings. Matter of fact, the most just coming to my mind is not the most direct person to sit back and see that is the king of confusion, which is Nebuchadnezzar, because he's the king of Babylon. Babylon means confusion. You know what I'm saying? In order to do that, you have to destroy the authority attached to that. When you look at every king of every society that Israel had ever been up under, you know what I'm saying? They caused chaos. How do they cause chaos? They had us worshiping other gods. They had us doing this. They had us doing that. And y'all had to come through and destroy that authority. Once he destroyed that authority, then we were up under them. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's the Assyrians, you know what I'm saying? No matter who it is, he crashes these people. He ends up crashing these people when we end up calling out to him. You know what I'm saying? Romans 16 and 20. Make it 19, though. I was going to make it 17. Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which you have learned, and avoid them. For they that are such serve not our master Yahushua HaMashiach, but their own belly, and by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple. See, that's what we were talking about last night. See, that's how Absalom was able to come in and do what he did. Because by fair speeches and good words, he was able to deceive the hearts of the simple. That goes right back again. That's how Hashatan come. He come peaceably, humbly, with lies. You know what I'm saying? That's how he come. So when you sit back and look at it, when you look at how he come, you just can't look at him at religious leaders. You gotta look at him at the people that might come around you in your everyday life. I told you, man, nigga come flattering you, telling you how great you are, especially when you coming about a situation where you feel like you was low and you wasn't getting that. You know what I'm saying? And you wasn't receiving that, and whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? This way he gonna strike. This way he gonna strike. That's how you can't be ignorant of his devices. One of the best way he'll come at you is to give you an inflated sense of self, or to come in to deliver something that you felt like you weren't getting in whatever situation. You know what I'm talking about? And he's going to try to fill that gap. But the whole time he coming with lies to be able to infiltrate and permeate your inner essence to destroy it. Because the next thing you know, you looking up and you walking in the pathway of which you never walked. And going in a way of which you never went. And you feel yourself spiraling out of control, but you don't realize how to get up out of it. You know what I'm saying? Basically like the movie war, what that movie was? That In Too Deep. With LL and Omar Epps. You end up, you know what I'm saying? He got so deep in the undercover work, he didn't think he could be able to come back and recover to be who he was, because he got caught up in something that was different. That's why he say, be not deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners. That's stuff you don't even sit back and look at, because that's how Satan come in. I'm going to come in with these evil communications, but before I come in with these evil communications to corrupt your good character and your good works, I got to come in peaceably. You know what I'm saying? I got to come in humbly. I got to come in flattering you till you put your defenses down. Then once you done put your defenses down and you've allowed me to come in, then I can permeate you with sin and destroy you and take you out. You know what I'm saying? That's why you sit back and look at it. You have to sit back and look at that. Somebody who's of Yah does not serve their own lusts and desires. You know what I'm saying? They'll have the ability to restrict themselves from that. Nor would they come to you and try to use that to take you down. That's why they end up turning the favor of our master Yahushua HaMashiach into lasciviousness. When you see that, that's Hashatan. Because he's sitting back appealing to the things that be of man and not the things that's of Elohim. When you sit back and you look at how Hamashiach destroyed the authority that was attached to chaos, he destroyed it with the word. His belief and his obedience to the word. That's why he say, get behind me, Satan. Get thee hence. Every time you seen him, get away from me. Get away from me. How did he get him away? Man, the word will run a nigga away. If they got evil in their heart, lust in their heart, they carnal, and that's going to get him to go away. You know what I'm saying? That's going to get him to go away. Because I'm going to tell you something, man. Hashatan will sit back in here, act like he going to abide in the word. He might stick around for a good little minute. But after a while, when his lust can't be fulfilled, he gonna dip. You just sit back and look at it. This is what Hashatan to sit back and get you do. Pressure you to do the things that's of the flesh. Put you pressure on. Let's do this. 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 You know what I'm saying? Hashatan ain't gonna never be, let's wait. Let's take some time. Let's be patient. That's not how Shaitan work. He try to speed up the process. You know what I'm talking about? He tries to speed up the process. When you sit back and you look at the word, right? Them people was ready to get in the land real fast. That's how Shaitan get in their heart to speed up the process. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all sitting back looking at, I'm going to take my time to get you in here because I got to humble you. And I got to do this and you got to do that. So you can actually take the time to see the true character of the person that you're serving. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga rushing you to do something is because they don't want you to see the true character of who you serving until they got you. Then by the time you look up, it's too late. You've been caught. So they come with fair speeches to deceive the simple. Being simple means you ain't that sharp. Basically, you're stupid. You know what I'm talking about? That's why we sit back and understanding there's a wellspring of life to them that have it. You sit back and you hearing the word, learning the word, you ain't got no excuse for being stupid. Ain't no way that man should even be able to catch you slipping like that. Verse 19, for your obedience is come abroad unto all men, and am glad therefore on your behalf. Now I'm going to sit back and I'm going to just reference it. You know how your obedience done came abroad to all men? Because all you got to do is look at Rahab and Jericho. She said, we heard about y'all. You know where that obedience came from? Because I told you to sacrifice that lamb and put that blood on the front door. Your obedience done came abroad to all men. You sit back and look at the Amorites, the Moabites, all of them say, boy, we heard about y'all. The only way they could have heard about you because y'all obeyed and did what I told you to do. You know what I'm saying? Sacrifice this lamb and put the blood on the doorpost. Well, you gotta sit back and look at it. If you turn around and do the same thing in Mashiach, your obedience is going to come abroad to all men. They going to hear about you. Same way they hear about your folly too, though. You know what I'm saying? Look what it say. He said, but I would have you wise unto that which is good and simple concerning evil. And the Elohim of Shalom shall bruise Satan under your feet shortly. The favor of our master Yahushua HaMashiach be with you, so be it. You see what he said? The Elohim of Shalom. I got to do, I got to bruise. That's the prophecy that he gave in Bereshit chapter 3. You'll step on his head, he'll bruise your heel. So in order to destroy the chaos, what's got to happen? The master got to be pierced. It's some blood got to be shed. You know what I'm saying? It's some life got to be given. He got to empty out life to get life, to destroy that chaos, which is destroy death. That's what man told you in Hebrews, right? We ain't got to go read it. We done read it so many times. You know what I'm saying? You can come back to what it was. Hebrew, go on back to Psalm 107. I don't need Hebrew 9. I mean, no, do Exodus 9. When we turn around and we look at it, right? It's just going to be 100 with it, all the way around the board with it. Death had niggas in straight confusion because before the word, you ain't know what was going to happen to you. That's what sin had you in. He said, when I was in sin, I was cool. Then when the sin revived, I was slaved. You know what I'm saying? See, sin is deceitful. Satan is a liar. You know what I'm saying? Sin will have you sitting back thinking, boy, you in a burning house and you still gonna be everything in the house burning up, smoke inhalation everywhere. You know what I'm talking about? And you got and sin got you thinking you're not gonna die. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? Sinners around you telling you you're not gonna die. See, it's all right to bend the word a little bit. See, that when he was talking about that, see, he didn't really know what he was talking about. See, he didn't really mean that there. See, it meant something else. See, he was lying to us. See, he was taking us over here, not sitting back looking at, and then like he say, fair speeches. So that means that stuff sound real good. Because all Hashatan gonna do is a play to your lusts. And those who are with wickedness in their streets and deceit and guile in their heart, they gonna go right along with it. And you going to hell with these people. Evil communication and corrupt good manners is not in there for no reason. It's gonna corrupt you. Man, I done told y'all this 1,000 times before and the nigga don't believe it. You not gonna convert no sinner, man. That sinner gonna convert you guaranteed. Especially if you can't drop no word on. If they can get you to compromise on the word in any shape, form, or fashion, they gonna get you. Whoever got their speakerphone on, they gotta mute it, man, for the echo. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. They gonna take you down. You don't never see that in it, because you know why? I think I can get them up. Once a nigga can get you to compromise on the word one time, boy, they know they can get you to do it again. And they know they can get you to do it again, and do it again, and do it again, and do it again, to the fact that Hashatan done took you under. Psalm 107, I said 109 though. Hold on, Exodus 15, that's what we didn't look at. That's what it was. That's what we came all over here around here for anyway. Come to Exodus 15 before we look at Psalm 107. That's what we came to the law for in the first place. Exodus 15:1. We get Revelation 9 too. My apologies, Revelation 15. 15 and 1. Then sang Moses and the children of Yasharal this song unto Yahuwah, and spake, saying, I will sing unto Yahuwah, for he have triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider have he thrown into the sea. Yahuwah is my strength and my song. He has become my salvation. He is my Elohim. I will prepare him a habitation. My father's Elohim. I will exalt him. Yahuwah is a man of war. Yahuwah is his name. Pharaoh's chariots and his hosts have he cast into the sea. His chosen captains are also drowned in the Red Sea. Hold on. I got to go ahead and just work it all the way around. There go Young Slim. And the depths have covered them. They sank into the bottom as a stone. Matthew 18, before we even get Revelation 15. I'm going to go ahead and work it like this here. I'm going to give y'all the verses. Work with me now. Matthew 18 and 1. Isaiah chapter 24, about verse 20. The Epistle of Jude. And what's happening with you, man? The Epistle of Jude and Revelation chapter 12. Revelation chapter 12. So listen what he say, right? He say, Pharaoh's chariots have he cast into the sea. His chosen captains he drowned in the Red Sea. Just let me see something real fast. We got a lot of stuff to sit back and look at. Do you know the characters off the rip for these words? Or do you need to look at it? Make sure I spelled that right. Hold on one second. Boom. Boom. I'm looking at C. Just something came to my mind with C. Okay, that ain't what Ruth said. I'm thinking about. Let me see what this is.
I think it's another lamad at
Word.
the end of that word, like halal.
Indeed.
Might be. I'm gonna check.
Yeah, I know I think it only had 3 characters, but I could see that though. Yeah. I ain't even started with those. You know what I'm saying? But I can see that though. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Depths. When we look at depths, right? He said he cast, the depths have covered them. And the word is, I'm going to go in because I know I'm going to say it wrong. I had it right. It said you have to home, right? And one of the meaning of it is abyss or the grave. So when we sit back and look at the grave has covered Pharaoh and his chosen captains. So when we look at the grave has covered Pharaoh and his chosen captains, what you think that could mean? Anybody? Anybody on this phone got an idea? Pharaoh and the chosen. Hey, yeah, look, my face. You ain't no months no more.
That's how it is. It's the hey, YAH, the YAH.
Okay, we need the ones up under too though.
I need my,
Yeah, I got the phone on. I mean, I can't work with it. If I just put the phone right there, they can still hear me though. Hold on, y'all. Anybody got any idea who Pharaoh and his chosen captains is? Nobody got no idea. So let's look at Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 20. Here, I said it right here. Isaiah 24 and 20. He said he done took those chosen captives and put them in the depths of the sea. Put them in the grave. Yahoo 24 and 20, man. 24 and 20. Got the fresh juice. Ah, man. Got the fresh juice. 24 and 20 says, and their rat shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahuwah shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high. Host is an army. He say the host of the high ones that are on high. Well, hold on then. Because I don't want nobody to come back around here later and say we just making some stuff up. Even though I ain't looked at no Hebrew when it came to me. See, it came to me in the house last week. You know what I'm saying? I had been sitting back holding on this here because Lil Stanley had been asking about this here. You seen what I had texted Troy? I had been sitting back thinking about that since I heard the record. You know how long ago that was you made that song? Mm-hmm. Just sat back and waited on it. Hit my head listening to another nigga talk about something else. When we look at the word right here, it's marom. And it means height, elevation, elevated place in a high place, proudly of nobles. Elevated place. I can think of a pretty elevated place. I don't know about any of y'all. And then the same thing with high ones, it's going to come back and it's going to tell us the same thing. So when we look at somebody in an elevated place, let's look at what he said. It shall come to pass in that day that Yahuwah shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high and the kings of the Arats and upon their wrath. He has made a distinction that this is talking about two separate groups of individuals, right? And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit and shall be shut up in the prison. And after many days shall they be visited. So he said, I got to take the host of the high ones, bust them down, pistol of Jude. I see you, little muffin. That stuff must be good. How you looking? I see you got your more face on. You looking like your mama right now. Then 5 minutes from now, you're going to look like your pappy. Pistol of Jude, verse 3. Yeah, that'd be crazy when they had more faces. That's when a child looked like both of their parents, and depending on their facial expression at the time, you know what I'm saying? It's all going to depend on which one they look like. No, but in my opinion, she looked more like you most of the time.
Well, that's not my son. You just made us.
Well, a more face. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. What?
Well, he had a crib.
Yeah, he said all them niggas was in there asleep.
What quarter?
He said, little Muppet told me he had to go to a wedding by something.
He had a Miami or something.
Yeah. She told me about that last night. Epistle of Jude, 3rd verse. Beloved, when I gave all diligence to write unto you of the common salvation, it was needful for me to write unto you, and exhort you that you should earnestly contend for the faith, which was once delivered unto the Kadeshim. For there are certain men crept in unawares, who were before of old ordained to this condemnation, ungodly men, turning the favor of our Elohim into lasciviousness, denying the only Yahuwah Elohim and our master Yahushua HaMashiach. That's what Hashatan did. He crept in unawares. You know what I'm talking about? He turned the favor, because he gave this man a favor, right? He gave the tree of life. There was nothing that Adam did to earn that. You know what I'm talking about? But he turned that same favor into lust. You won't die. Man, it's going to do this here for you. You'll be a god. You know what I'm talking about? And what did he do when he did that? He denied you, and he denied the son in the same aspect. That woman said, we'll surely die if we do this. He said, no, you won't. Denied him. You know what I'm saying? What Titus 1:16 say, you got to go get it, because I used to like to see word for word, but I got to sit back and look at it now. Titus 1:16, they profess that they know Elohim, but in works they deny, being abominable, disobedient, and under every good work reprobate. He sit back, talk about he know Elohim, but when he opened it and say, you ain't going to die, he denied them. The very work that he manifests was straight denial. You know what I'm saying? Let's sit back and you look at that. That's why Pharaoh, when he came to him, he said, who is y'all? I don't know who that is. He said, I will therefore put you in remembrance, though you once knew this, how that Yahuwah, having saved the people out of the land of Mizraim, afterward destroyed them that believed not. And the Malachim, which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he had reserved in the everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day. So now you turn around and sit back and see that there, right? Judgment unto the great. I had to take Pharaoh and his chosen ones and cast them in the depths, in the grave, in the abyss. You know what I'm talking about? See, I thank y'all for that one now, because we had to have a little bit of law to go with that Isaiah 20.
Hold on. So you were saying when he was saying
You see, the Isaiah is the one that sit back when he say he take the high ones that's on high, bring them down to the grave. You know what I'm talking about? Then when you turn around and you look at law-wise, when he talking about taking Pharaoh and his chosen captains
and putting them down
and put them in the depths of the sea, because he say he destroyed the enemy.
I don't know, something have rung in my head about Jude when he said I locked them into the time of judgment. Those
You think we about to look at it? Yeah, we about to look at it. Yeah, I ain't finished the whole verse. Saying the Malachim, which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, have he reserved in the everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day. And see, I didn't read the last verse in Isaiah 24.
Breaking that down, you saying that that's talking about kings.
Which one in Isaiah?
No, right here in Jude.
No, not the kings.
Who was that talking about right there for
The
that?
Malachim, the angels.
Yeah.
The angels.
Yeah.
See, when we look in Isaiah 24, what we're looking at is he made a separation. He said, I'm going to punish the host of the high ones that are on high and the king of the arrest. You know what I'm talking about? So then he's letting us know in that verse that he's talking about two sets of people. You know what I'm saying? Because we know he talking about an exalted place. Ain't no kings of the earth. No high or no high ones. You know what I'm talking about? Then he say he put him in the great. The last verse we didn't read is like 23 when he said the moon shall be confounded and the sun won't give it light and the great day of Yahuwah. Meaning y'all locked under these chains reserved under judgment until the last day. Why? Because of your transgression. That's why we turn around and say, I went and destroyed the enemy. Then he said, I took Pharaoh. Look what he said, his chosen captains. So when we read this Revelation 12, when he said he took a third of them with him, these his chosen captains. You know what I'm talking about? I had to take them and throw them in the depths. Had to put them in the grave. Had to lock them up for a little minute. You know what I'm talking about? And what he's sitting back looking at, that's why he go out to deceive or sit back and have you in that bondage. Because he's in darkness. So when you going through that shadow of death, he wants you to be in that same state that he is without any hope because he has no hope. You know what I'm saying? He's done. Revelation chapter 12. Like they said, that just came this in because we know it's got to be somewhere in the law. Because, you know, for a lot, I'm going to be honest with y'all. Because I was just talking to a brother with this here. Quad today, right? He finna drop how is human sacrifice acceptable in the law. Because when you deal with a lot of dudes who don't believe in Mashiach, that's their go-to. You know, we didn't talk about it before. I'm not finna go into it really in depth. You know what I'm saying? So what I was telling them is how, and I've said this to y'all before, how dudes get got is like this. Dudes can't explain certain things. So when a sinner, unbeliever, infidel, for the sake of this conversation, we'll say non-Messianic, ask somebody who believe in Mashiach questions on certain things that occur in the New Testament, the average dude can't show it. So because they can't show it, they automatically tended to be false. One of the biggest things that people question is this. The New Testament say in Jude, the angels got cast down, got thrown here. Revelation say Hashatan got kicked out. He took a third. Where can we go find this at? The average dude look at you like this here. I don't know, bro. So you know what it is? Man, this New Testament might be false. So then we got Tanakh, we got Yeshayahu, we got Isaiah telling you this. So we know somewhere it's got to be in the law. And now you see Moses in his song singing about this. Why is this important? Because guess what Mashiach going to come back and do? Take down Pharaoh and his chosen captains. You know what I'm saying? Because when he come back, Hashatan, you know from Revelation chapter 20, Hashatan get locked in the pit for 1,000 years. You know what I'm talking about? Then he get to come up out of it, then he get crashed. You know what I'm saying? Revelation 12, go ahead.
That's the many days.
That's the many days. Then he gonna be visited. I'm gonna come holler at you. It's you can sit back and look at it. It's looking at two things. Revelation 12 and 1. He said there appeared a great wonder in shamaym, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, upon her head a crown of 12 stars. She being with child cried, travailing in birth, pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in shamaym. Behold, a great red, what we would know, serpent. Having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of shamaym and did cast them down to the arats. And the serpent stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered for to devour her child as soon as it was born. We turn around and you sit back and you look at Pharaoh. What was he sitting back looking at all the kids that they were having? He was ready to devour the kid before they were even born.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm talking about? Even when you sit back and then you want to sit back and look at the other way why he was trying to stand before and to kill the woman before the children were even born. What you think that we could look at to sit back and see Pharaoh trying to devour it? Because we read about it in Exodus 15, be dead honest with it. How was he able to do that? How was he seeking to be able to do that? The law would back this up, that this great serpent is seeking. Because when you sit back and look at the Egyptians, one of the things they used to represent their kings was a serpent. You know what I'm saying? So how was he able to do it? Because when we were fleeing to go through the Red Sea to actually be finished, to actually be born, to be the sons of Elohim, to go through that immersion, he was right. He was trying to come kill you, to stop, to devour you at once. Showing you how he's showing you the framework of the adversary. You know what I'm talking about? Now, he didn't come like what we were talking about last night, coming peaceably and with flatteries. You know what I'm saying? Pharaoh ain't come with none of that. But what we looking at is what we looking at. That's why you say give thanks to Yah. He had destroyed the enemy. Because who had power over death when we were in Mizraim? Pharaoh did. He was the one giving the order to kill the kids. You know what I'm saying? Moses had to go ahead and put him up under his foot. Wow, and smash him. Because when we look at who came work all the miracles that got Pharaoh smashed, Moses did. I raised you a prophet like unto myself. I say I raised you a prophet like unto yourself. Because he had to sit back to show you how he going to put the enemy up on his foot. So when we turn around and look at that, come on back to Psalm 107. I heard that. Psalm 107. Verse 2, right? That's why you say, let the redeemed of Yahuwah say so, whom have he redeemed from the hand of the enemy. You just sit back and look at, he done came and pulled us back from the hand of the enemy, right? Pulled us back from the hand of the enemy. Pull us right back from the hand of the enemy. Hey, sitting back looking at that Aaron, man, it looked like it's got about 4 characters on that. You hear me? I don't know what you could probably take from that. It's got about 4 characters on that one. All right now. You get lumps on your head. He stayed there for a little minute too. Verse 3, and he gathered them out of the lands from the east and from the west and from the north and from the south. Listen what he say. And they wandered in the wilderness in a solitary way. They found no city to dwell in. Hungry and thirsty, their soul fainted in them. I know Troy probably know off the top of his head. Who know the Hebrew word for wilderness? I mean, I know what it is, but. Well, the Hebrew word for wilderness is midbar. And it actually means, you know, a pasture, open field. You know what I'm saying? Also, you know, implication, speech, and desert, and all this here. But when we sit back and we look at the characters for it, right? If we look at midbar, what's the first character we think would come up on that? Absolutely. And then what's the next character you think will come with that?
No, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, the dollar, absolutely. And then the next character, what you think you get on that? Got 2 more to go, huh? Absolutely.
Race.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we turn around and get that, you know what we get with wilderness? We get the water at the door of the house of the head. And that was the for y'all listening, that's the Meme, the Daleth, the Bot, and the Rosh. So you know what this is telling us, right? Because it said the people were hungry and thirsty and their soul fainted at them when they were sitting back looking for the water of the door at the house of the head. You know what I'm saying? They said they were hungry and thirsty while they were looking for the water at the door of the house of the head. Now, we talked about this last week, right? The people were complaining. What were they complaining for? Bread. You know what I'm saying? So when we sit back and you look at them going through the wilderness, water at the door of the house of the head. Now, this going to tie into something else that we're going to sit back and look at. You know what I'm saying? Or something, matter of fact, that we talked about last night about the understanding being a wellspring of life, because you actually looking for water at the door of the house of the head or the leader. You know what I'm saying? So let's look at something, right? John chapter 4 and verse 10. Hold on, let you see something real fast, man. See this right here, man. See this right here, man. See, most like Willie. That's the first one of many right there, boy. Now that first one of the people came right on time, hit me up yesterday, talking about, yeah, we got that for you. I'll be there in 15 minutes too. Straight up. You told me the end of the month, boy. I ain't got that kind of time. It's ugly around here. You talk about end of the month, but we gotta have to rob somebody. Y'all talking about end of the month. I'm talking about robbing y'all. Yo, $800 anyway, as far as I'm concerned. Let's sit back and look at it. 4 and 7. John 4 and 7. Looking for the water at the house, at the door of the house. Looking for water at the, it said, wait, water at the door of the house of the head. This is what this woman come around here looking for. Let's sit back and look what this woman say. There come a woman of Samaria to draw water. Yahushua said unto her, give me to drink. For his disciples were gone away unto the city to buy meat. Then saith the woman of Samaria unto him, how is it that thou, being a Yahudim, ask drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? For the Yahudim had no dwellings with the Samaritans. Yahushua answered and said unto her, if thou knew the gift of Elohim, and who it is that saith unto thee, give me to drink, thou would have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water. The woman saith unto him, sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. From whence hast thou that living water? Art thou greater than our father Jacob, which gave us the well, and drank thereof himself, and his children, and his cattle? You see what he said? She said Jacob had a well. He gave it to him himself. He drank from it, his children, and his cattle. One thing about the master is he drank from the same well that we drank from them. And then he turned around. He not only just did it himself, he gave it to his kids and his beasts. You know what I'm saying? Which that's going to, the beasts going to tie in a minute. Yahushua answered and said unto her, whosoever drink of this water shall thirst again. But whosoever drink of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst. But the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life. Because when they were going through the wilderness, they kept screaming. They were hungry and thirsty, and they were going to faint. Well, when we turn around and we look at it, right? 2 Corinthians chapter 4. (4 and 14). Oh, I forgot about that here, boy. That dude be bumping in him. 4 and 14. Knowing that he which raised up the master Yahushua shall raise up us also by Yahushua, and shall present us with you. For all things are for your sakes, that the abundant favor might through the thanksgiving of many redound to the esteem of Elohim. For which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. For our light affliction is what but for a moment work for us a far more exceeding eternal weight of esteem. While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, and the things which are not seen are eternal. Let's go look at Deuteronomy chapter 8. Because these people sat back and looked at it. Hey, what's going on? Let's look at Deuteronomy chapter 8, right? These people sitting back looking at that they want water, and they about to faint. And let's look at Deuteronomy 8 and 1. Let's see what happens. That nigga stay bringing a big old goodie bag every time. We see. We see. She don't bring a regular bag. She bring the whole real life. I just went the white people bags. They don't like to bring their own bags. Deuteronomy 8 1. And it says, and all the commandments which I command thee this day shall you observe to do, that you may live and multiply and go in and possess the land which Yahuwah sware unto your fathers. And thou shalt remember all the way which Yahuwah led thee these 40 years in the wilderness to humble thee. So when you sitting back looking at Midbar, and it's the water at the door of the house of the head, this man was bringing us through all these things that he might be able to humble thee. So this is why he said he did this. To prove thee to know what was in thy heart, whether thou would keep his commandments or no. And he humbled thee, and he suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna which thou knew not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man doth not live by bread only, but by every word that proceedeth of the mouth of Yahuwah doth man live. Thy raiment waxed not old upon thee, neither did thy foot swell these 40 years. Thou shalt consider in thy heart, that as a man chasten his son, so Yahuwah thy Elohim chasten thee. Therefore thou shalt keep the commandments of Yahuwah thy Elohim, to walk in his ways and to fear him. Now when we sit back and look at when they were coming into the wilderness, we can't sit back and say that people were just outright sinning. Now of course they got in there and they began to sin when they got there. But his intention was to do this to them before they even got there. You know what I'm saying? So you looking at the simple fact of that what he was bringing upon them, to cause them to hunger and thirst to the point they were going to faint, to the point that I put this affliction on you, it will cause you to look unto me. This is what we talking about with that shadow of death. See, when you're going through that shadow of death, it's the purpose of, you don't necessarily have to do nothing wrong to go through that. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, Trav say he had that dream and everybody was going in that cloud and everybody who was going in the cloud died. He said, then I just pop up and explain to him what it was about. And he said he believed it happened because you just experienced it. You know what I'm saying? So you could be able to tell me like, boom, because when you going through that shadow of death is on you, death is on every side. That's why the book states, he say, that rod and thy staff comfort me. Your discipline, your instruction, and your support on every side is going to comfort me. You know what I'm saying? While I'm going through this. He says, they, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. That means anything that can happen to me will not put any fear in my heart because I know Yahuwah is with me. You know what I'm saying? So, and we're going to sit back and show it that and see that even in the midst of the darkness, there's actually light or life in the darkness. It just don't seem like it while you in it, but it's there. Now, those who can't see the light or consider the light, you know what ends up happening? They die. This is why he was seeing people going through the shadow and not coming out. You know what I'm saying? See, sometimes, right? And a lot of times, you know what happened when he put you through that shadow of death too? Because obviously, who had power over death? The devil, right? So guess what ends up happening when you're going through that shadow? Him and his minions are surrounding you the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's a spiritual type or actual literal people in the flesh who he's using. You know, I'm going to be honest with you too. The man Satan used people and people don't even know that he's using them. You know what I'm saying? Now we know he that commits sin is of the devil. So obviously if he using them, they got to be mired in some type of transgression. But then the person who might be being used does not even be aware that this man is using you for this said cause. And not even sit back looking at that, just like Pharaoh and his chosen captains. Since I say Pharaoh and his chosen captains, right? Keep the Deuteronomy chapter 8 in mind. Look at Romans chapter 9. Because just like if people chosen the salvation, because chosen captain means chosen leaders of the army, right? I got these people set up over. That means Hashatan got some people set up over certain people, man, you going to hell. If we're going to turn around and look at, you know, Hashatan copy everything the Most High do, right? Now, we know in Psalm 91, he say his Malachim encamp his people. You know what I'm talking about? He said his people. So you know full well, if y'all got his messengers surrounding his own people, then guess what Hashatan will have with his people? They'll be right there with him. Go ahead and do that, boy. You can go ahead and do that. Ain't no big deal. And then somebody who going through that shadow of death who don't really understand what they're going through, and they got all these wicked people around them, they don't realize these people wicked because they doing what? Say, don't marvel if Hashatan be transformed into a Malachim light, or even his ministers, they come looking like they real righteous. What it is? Romans 9 by verse 15. He saith to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So it is not of him that will, nor of him that run, but of Elohim that showed mercy. For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for the same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, that my name might be declared throughout all their rats. Therefore he have mercy on whom he will have mercy, and on whom will he harden. Thou wilt say unto me, why doth he yet find fault? For who have resisted his will? Nay, but, O man, who art thou that reply against Elohim? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? Have not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor? What if Elohim, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction, that he might make known the riches of his esteem on the vessels of mercy, which he had afore prepared unto esteem? So if he got chosen captains, right? If Hashatan got chosen captains, right? And we know that there's people chosen to salvation, and that those same people chosen to salvation got chosen captains over him with one chief captain. Because if there's a chief captain, there's got to be captains up under him too. You know what I'm saying? Because we got to sit back and look at the law. Moses set captains up over the people, right? Same thing. So guess what that means? Satan people got captains over them, ruling and dictating and moving them. You know what I'm saying? And nobody don't want to sit back and really sit back and think about that he's using these people to create utter chaos in the whole earth. You know what I'm talking about? Man, you sit back and look at it, right? I had put Rand caught this little picture, right? You know what I'm saying? He's like, watch what you allow in your spirit, right? So then you sit back and look at it. Nigga come around with gossip all the time, lying all the time. Who that come from? He say the lust of your father ye will do. That's not y'all bringing that stuff around you. You know what I'm talking about? So who is that person being used by to manifest this type of stuff? Now it's permeating you, and now you got complete and utter chaos in your life, and you wonder where it come from, because Hashatan is in your life. That means you have to sit back and look at it first and foremost. What am I doing? You know what I'm saying? Then once I sit back and look at if I correct and change what I'm doing to bring chaos, and the chaos is still present, then guess what that means I need to do? I got to look at everybody who's around me. You know what I'm saying? And you know what getting them messed up? Because they got this in their hand. Or they, you know what I'm saying? Or they like, yeah, praise. How is all this here? You sitting there thinking. But remember, we walked in sweet company together. Even in the house of Elohim, and you was my enemy the whole time. So what we sitting back looking at is how he cast Pharaoh in the sea and he destroyed all these kingdoms in the past. In order to destroy him that got authority over chaos, you're going to have to lean on y'all. That's what the people did to get out. See, then when they got out, they were screaming they were hungry and thirsty, not sitting back realizing Matthew chapter 5, what they was really hungry for. Matthew 5 and 3. So you supposed to been hungry for the word and that living water that quenched the life everlasting. Like I say, understanding is a wellspring of life to them that have it. That means you can consistently, you'll never thirst. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us sit back and look at Mashiach say, I thirst. You know what I'm saying? We supposed to sit back and realize to get to the point where we never sit back and say, I thirst. Because he say, anybody who drink of this water will thirst again. Say, anybody who drink of the water that I have to give will never thirst, because you'll have an understanding. That's why we looked at that last night. And understanding be men. He's saying malice be children. Because I just think about a dude be like, I'm searching for peace. I'm searching for peace. I'm searching for peace. And then when you turn around and you look at it and we see what the word actually means, nigga, you know why you ain't got no peace. Satan is in your life, boy. He said there's no peace to the wicked. You know Satan ain't got no peace. You know he just sitting back looking at, I'm finna get smashed. You know what I'm saying? I'm finna get smashed. I ain't got no peace. So when what you think he's trying to take away from you? You know what I'm saying? And you know the word part of it, what more people do is they blame the wrong people for why their peace gone. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the people bringing sin in your life is what's taking your peace away. If you sit back, before this time period, I had peace. Now I'm in this time period, I ain't got it. You have to sit back and look at what changed. Cause I'm gonna tell you, man, and it don't seem like it at the time. You might have bouts where it go in and out, but it still be present. But when you going through it, well, you still have some manner of peace, because y'all gonna let you know that he there. It just sometimes your spirit won't allow itself to be comforted. You know what I'm talking about? It'll resist it because it's just that low and it's just that broken to the point where, yeah, I know you there, and you bringing me like this here, like, but you like, man, I ain't really trying to hear that right now. You know what I'm talking about? Make it 5 and 6. Matthew 5 and 6. He say, blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. He said they almost fainted. So when you turn around and look at it, he say, my flesh is meat indeed. You know what I'm saying? We had to sit back and look at the hunger to be a partaker of this man's body. You have to have a hunger for that. You have to have a thirst for righteousness, or that ruach. You know, a lot of people don't have no thirst for that. A lot of people don't have no thirst for that. That's why they be ready to, they say they hungry, they thirsty, they finna faint. So y'all made a provision. I give you living water, and I give you this man flesh to eat. You know what I'm saying? Now, as we already know, a brother that y'all know said that he ain't talking. Of course, we know this man ain't talking about literally eating no flesh. No, I just had to deal with a dude about this last night. So you know that verse in Leviticus where he say you'll eat your children. Dudes coming at some Egypt niggas, right? Oh, the Bible God evil. He said eat your children. I say, dude, you read it that in English, dude. You know what I'm saying? So you know what he tried to do? He tried to post it in Hebrew. I said, well, sir, that's the modern Hebrew. I just told you what the word was. Well, this the paleo. And I said, and you still didn't put up the word that I gave you. I say, bro, the word say a call, man, it means to devour or oppress. You know what I'm saying? And you turn around and you look at, yeah, nigga, black people oppress their children. You know what I'm talking about? The movie Precious is a good example of that. Do you know what I'm saying?
But what about that time, I think in Kings, they did eat their kids?
Oh, yeah, they were wilding, though. And he punished them for that, too. Yeah. But see, but you know, but see, I mean, that literally happened. But at the same time in Kings, they wasn't in captivity.
Somebody said, y'all
I mean, in the curses it said that you shall eat your children.
Children.
And then you go to the Book of Kings, and
Then they see, but see, dude didn't even reference Book of Kings.
Oh, okay.
But then even when you look at Kings, we was in the land, them niggas just were wilding. Like you even had a lady say, "I'm gonna just go ahead and boil my son, and I'm gonna eat him." She talking about we boiled my son, and we ate my son. Then we were tired to boil her, cause she like, "Yeah, stood duking on you, nigga." But at the same time, that was on y'all.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? We weren't even captive at that time. We was in the land chilling. We had a wicked king, but we were chilling though. You know what I'm saying? The curse had backed him across the head, but I would just use him as an example of that. Before you even really start looking at the language, you read it in English, you're going to take it on face value. Like, is this man really telling us we going to eat our children? You know what I'm saying? Then when you go into that word and you see, okay, this particular word has a particular meaning that pertains to something else, then you sit back looking at, okay, oppress the kids. I can see that. Look how many of these women out here, because they bitter against the man they had kids with, look how they do their kids, and fourth is trying to get back at that man. And then vice versa, how some dudes do their kids to get back at that woman, oppressing them children. You know what I'm saying? So you doing exactly what the man told you to do. You know what I'm talking about? Well, you said that you would do. But look at it in face value, man, no fool where the man like to say, you ain't heard no black folks sitting around here eating their kids. Man, we've been over here 400 years. You ain't heard too many stories about no black kid people killing. We're not cannibals. You know what I'm saying? Leave that up there to them Europeans. They like to do stuff like that. And half of them Africans do too. Cause boy, I seen a picture of African had his head up an elephant booty, so you know they crazy. You know what I'm
I mean, they got it from the people that was around them that they was driving out.
Yeah, indeed. But all I'm sitting back and looking at, boy, I don't care what's going on. I'm not sticking my head in nobody's booty, much less an elephant. I'm talking about he had his whole head in there too. I guess he just did this one here. Dig deep, nasty bastard. You know what I'm talking about? But let's look at Jeremiah chapter 2. Them niggas are. It made me think about some Family Guy episode. He said, "Babe," he told Babe something. She said, "What?" He said, "You're a fart sniffer." He grabbed her face and farted in her face. Boy, I wish a nigga would fart in my face, boy. We gonna have to fight, boy. Hold on, let me show you something before I keep going, boy. You see them there, boy? That nigga done did it again. That nigga done did it again. He done did it again. That nigga done did it again. That nigga done did it again. I'm talking about, that's hard right there, boy. Look like them things faded. I'm for real. And then got a light purple and a dark purple. That nigga did that. Somebody had, you seen a dude tagged me in a picture of one of his shoes, man. Everybody like, boy, I want some of these. I gotta have these. I said, yeah, he want $375 to $400 for them. He said, I don't want them. He said, I don't want them. He said, I don't want them. I didn't say, I don't want them. I say, Sick gonna tax you, boy. What you think this is, nigga? Boy, Sick want that bread, boy. I can't say I blame him, though. Jeremiah 2:1, right? Listen what he say. He say, moreover, the word of Yahuwah came to me, saying, go and cry in the ears of Jerusalem, saying, thus saith Yahuwah, I remember thee, the kindness of thy youth, the kindness of thy youth, the love of thine espousals, when thou went after me in the wilderness in the land that was not sown. Yasharai was Kadesh unto Yahuwah, and the first fruits of his increase. All that devour him shall offend, evil shall come upon them, saith Yahuwah. Now the reason why we came to look at this here, right? They in the wilderness, right? He said they came up in the wilderness, they about to faint and thirst. He said, I'm going to come back, and he said, I'm looking at you. I remember thee, the kindness of thy youth and the love of thy espousals, when thou went after me in the wilderness in the land that was not sown. Now let's go back and let's look at Mashiach. He said, I remember the days of your youth. Luke chapter 1, verse 69. We got to come back to Luke for something else. We got an hour. We got time. I told Josiah we were around here. Let's see if he show up. He talking about he in Riverside Park.
Oh, he more than likely.
He might not. I mean, but he say he seen them boys down there though. 1 to 67. He said, I walk right past. I said, I know they down there. We good. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going down there 1 to 67. We ain't going down there fooling with them niggas no more. Let them niggas have that. Hope cause Jordan got healed. He said, and his father Zacharias was filled with the Ruach HaKodesh and prophesied, saying, Baruch be Yahuwah Elohim of Yasharal, for he has visited and redeemed his people. Just like he did in Egypt, right? He said, I remember the days of your youth, the loving kindness and the time of your espousals. He said, when you went after me in the wilderness in a land that wasn't sown. Think about that, right? As he spake, he's raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David. And as he spake by the mouth of his Kadesh prophets, which have been since the world began, that we should be saved from our enemies in the hand of all that hate us. Right? It's taking us right back to the beginning of the formation of our people. To perform the mercy promised to our fathers and to remember his Kadesh covenant, the oath which he sware to our father Abraham, that he would grant unto us that we being delivered out of the hand of our enemies might serve him without fear, in Kadesh and righteousness before him all the days of our life. So this right here, he's sitting here talking about, I remember the days of your youth. Because when we go back and we look in the law, when he had respect unto them, he said he remembered who? Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. You know what I'm saying? So when Mashiach is coming, I'm taking you right back to the days of your youth and the loving kindness that I had. You know what I'm saying? When we look at the loving kindness that he had, what is that loving kindness? He say, take this lamb and offer it, slaughter it, and put this blood here, and the destroyer will pass over you, and I will bring you out of here. You know what I'm saying? This is the time of your espousal, because we actually don't, and you sit back and look at it, right? We actually don't get married to the man till we actually come out of the wilderness to enter into the house. You know what I'm saying? Like when we were going through the wilderness, that was actually the espousal. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually getting the time period. That's why you sit back and you look at it, right? That's sit back what I was talking about, how Hashatana rush you. Like if you marry somebody, there's an espousal period, and there's a good amount of time that goes on in between that time period. You know what I'm saying? And if somebody said, let's get married now, let's get married now, let's get married now, that's the devil. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all could have took his wife and got her married in a matter of boom. Instead, it was 40 years. You know what I'm saying? It was 40 years. He didn't sit back and rush into the marriage. He took his time. You know what I'm saying? Hashatana ain't going to take his time. He's going to rush you into getting married. Why? Because when you look up, you're going to see that's the devil and not him. He's going to have that form of righteousness till he marry you. Then the ungodliness going to appear. You know what I'm saying? That's why he say the time of your espousals. When you were time of your espousals, what happened? You were walking in the wilderness. He was humbling you. You know what I'm talking about? He was causing you to hunger. You sitting back, I'm finna faint. I ain't got no bread. I ain't got no water. So what does Mashiach turn around and do? He that believe on me, as the scripture has said, out of his belly shall flow what? Rivers of living water. Who were coming after him in the wilderness? We got to go read it. But you know, in John, they say they go to Lamb of Elohim. What did the people do after that? They got up and went after him. Because they were in the land where they were looking at for water. I know I'm going to say it wrong. It's escaping on my brain. They were looking at water at the door of the house of the head. Mashiach told them straight as well, I'm the door. Say, no man can get to the Father but by me. So I'm the door. You got to come in through me. So they looking at water from him who was made from the beginning, because in him was light, and the light was the light of men. This is where they looking for the water from. The same way they were looking at Moses. Let's take you right back to Moses. Now, Moses wasn't the door, but he was drawn from the water. That's what his name means. And they were saying that Moses, we thirsty. We finna fall out. Get us some water. They were looking at water from the head, the man who was leading them. We need the water from you. You got it. Which is why we read that in Numbers 21 last night. He say they dug a well by the instruction of the lawgiver. He say the princes and the nobles. That means that goes right to say 2 Timothy 2:15, since I said that. The princes and the nobles, the leaders of the people say, the instruction of the lawgiver, you supposed to dig the well. This is where this come in at. We looked at the word in Hebrew for dig, and that purpose means to search. You sit back and look at it. If you digging, you ain't searching for nothing. You just digging a hole. 2 Timothy 2:15. Matter of fact, they're making it 11. See, that's what these niggas ain't digging for. This is why the people ain't got no understanding, no wellspring of life. Find it. It is a faithful saying, if we be dead with him, we shall also live with him. We're not sitting back looking at that lamb being offered in your sacrifices in the beginning of your youth. Was you being dead with him so that you could live with him coming out, the same way we're going through the Red Sea. If we suffer, we shall also reign with him. If we deny him, he will also deny us. If we believe not, yet he abide faithful, he cannot deny himself. Of these things put them in remembrance, charging them before the master that they strive not about words to no profit, but to the subverting of the hearer. See, this is the thing he say, make sure you put these things in remembrance. That if we die with him, we'll live with him. If we suffer with him, we reign with him. But if you don't believe, he's going to be faithful. He's not going to deny himself. That's the part that killed me, right? A nigga sit back and talk trash and deny the man like that's gonna affect him. Oh, he's not real. So what they got to do with me? That's how you sit back and look at it. He said, so what they got to do with me? So that means I'm not real because you said it. So that's gonna change everything I came to do because you said it. And I say that to say this here, right? And it's easier said than done at times. If you know you doing what you supposed to be doing, and I'm talking about, it just got to be just with the word. I'm talking about period. You know you handling your business. You doing what you got to do. Don't let nobody else turn and affect your self-esteem and self-view of yourself if you handling your business. You know what I'm saying? See, sometimes when people say certain stuff to you and you feel like your self-esteem dropping because you know in actuality you're not handling your business. You know what I'm talking about? But it's like this here, right? It put it this way, right? Let's say, just because I told y'all about that, like I told you about that dream I had, right? You know what I'm saying? And it was a while ago. You know what I'm saying? Nigga sitting back talking about, oh man, that nigga ain't finna do nothing. That nigga just starting this business just to have something to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Now, Troy, I don't know. I don't know why anybody will start a business just for show. You know what I'm saying? Especially the work and frustration that I got to go into it to get it off the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like, who gonna do all that? See, I'm doing something. No, nigga, we trying to eat. You know what I'm saying? What you gonna do all that for? But when you know you doing what you supposed to be doing and why you doing it, somebody saying that would not affect your view of yourself. You can say what you can deny what I'm doing all you want. It's not gonna change the fact that I'm gonna faithfully do what I set my mind to go do and what I get up and do every single day, irregardless of what you say out your mouth. You know what I'm saying? That's how YAH and the Father sit back and look at, regardless of you denying me. You know what I'm talking about? They ain't gonna change the fact that I'm gonna remain faithful. You sit back and you can see that same framework with Peter. He denied the man 3 times. He still was faithful. You know what I'm talking about? He looking right. I don't know him. The worst one I think is in Mark when he said it, and he say, boy, after that cock crew the 3rd time, he say the master just turned to him and looked at him. You know what I'm saying? Man, hold on a minute. Let me feed it verse 15. Let me find that verse in Mark. Man, I'm telling you, say he did that there to him, say he turned and looked. Well, you know that's that hard. That's how you know he black. Cause that's what black people do. You know what I'm saying? I done told you were gonna do something. And you done mess around and did it, and they don't even say nothing. It's like this shit. It's simple stuff like this here that let you know he black.
Yes, sir.
Cause that's a black. White people don't do stuff like that.
No.
They might do it every now and then, but they don't do it. A nigga do it quick. Boy, I told you, boy. Boy, you gonna do this here, boy, we going to jail. Man, we ain't going to jail as soon as the nigga get back in that police car. Nigga like this here. You know what I'm talking about? And might hit you with that straight face smile too, like. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to picture his face, how his face might have been looking at him in my head right now when he turned and looked at people. So you wasn't gonna do what? I know Peter Hart went like this here. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Oh man. It say verse 15, right? Study to show thyself approved under Elohim, a workman that need not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Well, if they dig a hole, ain't they working? You know what I'm saying? You got to search that stuff on out, man. You search that stuff on out, that means it's a wellspring of life, not only to him that have it, but to all that hear. See what I'm talking about it is, because like I say the conversation we had last week to the house, because I felt where the brother coming from. Like I say everybody different. You know what I'm saying? He felt like this right here make me feel more connected. You know what I'm saying? Well, another brother sit back and look at, well, this right here might make me feel more connected. And another brother might look at this right here might make me more connected. So you know what in the actuality you do? You try to take the one thing this brother talking about, and the one thing this brother talking about, and the one thing this brother talking about, and bring them all in together so everybody feel connected in the same fashion. You know what I'm saying? That's what you sit back and do. The brother say, you know what, this make me feel better. Boom, boom, boom. Just take it, put it all together, man. I don't want to say gumbo because they put a lot of unclean stuff in there. But you know what I'm talking about.
Clean gumbo.
Clean gumbo. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? It just sit back and look at it because, I mean, you sit back and you look at it, right? That's how our body's going to work. It's interconnected. And we don't sit back and say the alphabet is our alphabet interconnected, which obviously that's plain to see. You know what I'm saying? The scriptures and the epistles are interconnected. When I say scripture, I'm talking about the gospels too. They interconnected. You know what I'm saying? And even the words when they spelled out, I'm talking about individual word, they interconnected. You know what I'm saying? So everything that is of Yahuwah is connected, then you would try to do the things to make sure it stays connected. Because one brother can't be disconnected, that means everybody is, for all intents and purposes. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no way around that. That can't be. You know what I'm saying? Like what you were mentioning, which really, truth be told, we've been talking about this here for weeks now. Shoot, almost months. He just put something out here earlier, right? You have people look at it this way. They got compassion, no word. You know what I'm saying? Then you got some got word, no compassion. We talking about like organizations. You know what I'm saying? Like I just seen a nigga today say something, which I've always felt like this here. He say, man, don't come at me with that I am my brother's keeper junk. He like, miss me with that. You know what I'm saying? I know why he say that. And I've said it the whole time I've been dealing. That's not actually a term of endearment. He was being sarcastic. He had already killed the man. And when he said, where your brother? Am I my brother's keeper? Like, that's why he was saying that. When he made that statement, y'all say, man, where Abel at?
Yeah.
Do I keep up with this nigga?
Yeah.
Basically.
You know what I'm saying? I don't keep up with this nigga. You know what I'm saying? Now, this was an ISU, because to him, he said, nigga, that statement does not denote brotherhood. I don't rock with ISUPK on everything, but I ain't mad at him for that, because he did right, because I've been screaming that for years. And niggas look at me stupid. I would never look at nobody and say, I'm my brother's keeper. That means I'm saying I'm going to kill my brother. First chance I get, I'm a murky. And when y'all come ask me about it, man, I don't know, I'll keep up with that nigga. You know what I'm saying? But it's just but you know, people love to scream it, I'm my brother's keeper. And you notice everybody who say that always snake a nigga. I'm talking about that's just in the world, in the word, cause I don't know too many people say it in the word, but look how many people in the world say it, and look how most of them snake the nigga in the end. You know what I'm talking about? Snake them in the end. I'm my brother's keeper. Come on, man. Y'all seen New Jack City?
Yeah.
Am I my brother's keeper? Shot him. Guess what he did? Nigga, you banged the man freak hoe, whatever you want to call it. He mad about that. If you was your brother's keeper, you wouldn't even did that. You know what I'm talking about? Then what you doing? You mad. You start smoking bass. You know what I'm talking about? Now you want to cut side deals because you mad with him. Now he looking you in your face. Am I my brother's keeper? Y'all wasn't brothers in the first place. Because y'all allowed something external to come in between. The same way Cain allowed something external to come in between. Ain't nothing supposed to separate you from your brother. The book say we like the scales on this man's body. Can't even be moved. It is absolutely nothing external should ever separate you from your brother. Ain't nowhere in the world that should even happen. That shouldn't even happen. If that's your brother say, you know what, hey, boom, 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 boom. You're going to sit back and look at it. That's my brother, so I ain't going to do that because that's going to make him upset. Or that's going to do this here, or that's going to do that there. You're not going to want to have that schism or that. You're not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to do that. What do these niggas do? The direct opposite. What it is? Come over here, Mark. Let me see what that is, man. I got to read that one. I ain't read it in a minute. Sit back and look. Say he turned and looked at it. Peter sit and look and see. Let me see if that's in Mark. Let me see. Now Mark say he turned and he thought on the word. Let me see if it's in Luke. I be forgetting sometime where it's at. Oh, I ain't got it on this one here. I got to use the app for this one here. Y'all give me a second. I know it ain't. I don't think it's John. I don't think it's Matthew either. We gonna see in a minute though. I wish I had all these pages, but I don't. She going hard over there, ain't it? Let me see what that's at. Oh, I done missed it. It might have been in John. I know it wasn't Matthew though. Is that Luke 22 that might have been in? Golly, I'm trying to remember, man. That one there was hardcore though. That one there was hardcore. One of y'all might find it before I do. Let me see. Bear with me, y'all. Yeah, it's not Matthew and it ain't Mark. It got to be, come on, man. It got to be Luke. I'm messing around, it's going to be John, but I don't think that story of him denying him is in John, though. It's got to be Luke. There it is. I knew it was Luke 22, verse 59. I know I ain't crazy. You know what I'm saying? Luke 22, probably about 55. I know I ain't crazy. 22 and 55. Just the pages be missing, be throwing me off. You know what I'm saying? I don't be knowing that stuff swiping through that app, boy. But that book, I know my own book.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He said, when they had kindled a fire in the midst of the hall and were set down together, Peter sat down among them, but a certain maid beheld him as he sat by the fire and earnestly looked upon him and said, this man was also with him. And he denied him, saying, woman, I know him not. And after a little while, another saw him and said, thou art also of them. And Peter said, man, I am not. He getting black with it. You know what I'm saying? He said, and then he spoke about a space of 1 hour after another confidently affirmed, saying, of a truth this fellow was with him, for he is a Galilean. Peter said, man, I know not what thou say. And immediately while he yet spake, the cock crew, and the master turned and looked upon Peter. And Peter remembered the word of the master, how he said unto him, before the cock crow, thou shalt deny me thrice. And Peter went out and wept bitterly. I'm talking about, boy, he say he learned it like this here. You like this here, they got like this here. One. He like, oh, man. One of these days, we'll sit back and show you why he turned and looked at him. Today's not that day, though. You know what I'm talking about? Let's come on back over here to Psalm 107, though. Well, we was looking at that Jeremiah too, though. But when we sit back looking at it, it appears like he said, Elohim shall love, so love the world that he gave his only begotten son. What we sitting back looking at is coming through when you sit back, they looking at the water at the door of the head of the house. And talking about the days of your youth and your espousals. When Mashiach is coming in, it's the reminder of, because what is he coming to do? Renew the covenant. So it's got to be in the same framework what it was in the first time. That means y'all got to have the same love, the same care, the same signs, the same wonders, the same application that he did the first time. Okay then. Psalm 107. And I ain't getting nowhere close to what we talking about. Look at verse 6. You can sit back and even say that, talking about they hungered and thirst, and their soul fainted in them. That was Mashiach when he was up there on that stake, because he said, I thirst. His soul fainted in him because he gave up the Ruach. Hey. All right then. Look at verse 6. They cried unto Yahuwah in their trouble, and he delivered them out of their distresses. He led them forth by the right way, that they may go to a city of habitation. Oh, that men would praise Yahuwah for his goodness and his wonderful works to the children of men, for he satisfied the longing soul and filled the hungry soul with goodness. Such as sit in darkness in the shadow of death, being bound in affliction and iron, because they rebelled against the words of Elohim. I think you might want to put your sock back on. Therefore he brought down their heart with labor, and they fell down, and there was none to help. They cried unto Yahuwah in their trouble, and he saved them out of their distresses. He brought them out of darkness in the shadow of death, and brake their bands asunder. Now, we read a whole bunch of verses here. Now we got to go on and deal with them. Matter of fact, I didn't run to 20 because they show. And that way I ain't got to keep coming back, because at the end of the chapter is more, and I don't think we're going to get to all of that. He said, oh, that men would praise Yahuwah for his goodness and for his wonderful works to the children of men. For he hath broken the gates of brass and cut the bars of iron in sunder. Fools, because of their transgression and because of their iniquities, are afflicted. Their soul abhor all manner of meat. They draw near unto the gates of death. Then they cry unto Yahuwah in their trouble, and he saved them out of their distresses. He sent his word and healed them and delivered them from their destruction. Now he's sitting here saying, right, when we cry unto him in our trouble and our distresses, he leads us forth by a right way, so we can go into a city to have a place to dwell. I was talking to a brother in, look at Genesis chapter 10. When me and Little Stanley was in that barber shop on Murder. You ever been over there with him, Troy? Now we in there with them dude, right? One of the barbers, it appears to be, y'all stirring it hard up. You know what I'm talking about? The come to the word just based on the conversation and the question that he was asking. You know what I'm saying? But then dudes was asking questions about certain things. That's Genesis 11, actually. I'm trying to recall, was that him asking me about that? I think I mentioned that. Yeah, it was. Like, when we look at the story of the Tower of Babel, right? One of the things that people say is them people were building that to go to war with YAH. But yet you don't read nowhere in there where these people said anything about going to war anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Not one time do you hear them say, we finna fight him. Insinuation. They say, and the whole of rats was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east, they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone and slime they had for mortar. And they say, go to, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach unto Shamaym, and let us make a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the Arats. Yahuwah came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded. Yahuwah said, behold, the people is one, they all have one language. This they begin to do. Now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. We're going to look at this differently. These people said they wanted to have a city that would reach to Shamaym. So you know what they were trying to do? They were looking for the right way to go to have a city to dwell in. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't, if you actually read what he tell them, they would look at y'all say, he say they won. Then he say everything they gonna do, nothing's gonna be restrained from them. What we actually seeing is not that they were doing anything wicked, but they were actually about to complete something before it was time for it to be completed. And I gotta stop you. Now we're gonna sit back and look at it. He say nothing will be restrained from them. You know what that means? Nothing to be restrained from you. Nothing to be kept back from you. Let's see what Mashiach say about that. I want to say what that is. John 15, I want to say. It might be John 5. Matter of fact, he said there's nothing that they could do could be restrained. Because he said, let's look at John 5 first. Then we'll look at John 15.
Greater works.
Greater works than these. When we look at a city habitation, then we're going to come back and look at what Peter say. And then in Revelation say. Because we're looking for a habitation. You know the song. Y'all heard it. He wrote it. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down. But you know what I'm getting to, though? We're looking for a city that is not of this place. That's what they were looking for. Niggas sit back thinking they trying to go to war with God. Where do you read that at? That's not what it says. Nor was he even mad with them for making it. He say the people are one. Mashiach say, I and my Father are one. He say, Father, make them perfect in one as we are. Which means the people would be one and they would have one speech. Why? Because they'd only hear one voice, and that would be Mashiach's voice. It wasn't time for that. I feel you too, little muffin. I know that's right.
Who at the door?
5 and 19. 5 and 17. She said, I feel good. She said, I feel good all over, like her name, Stephanie Mill. He said, but Yahusha answered them, my Father worked hitherto and I work. You know, make me think, right, before I go, I had ran across it one day, looking at the comments, like on the analytics seat on the YouTube page one day, and somebody ran across, because, you know, that was a long, sit back, think about it, that was a long time ago when we looked at that Tower of Babel, man. We come on almost a year about that. You know what I'm saying? And a dude put on there, they blaspheming, they this, they that. And I'm like, obviously, you didn't listen to the entirety of this, sir, because this is clear as day. You know what I'm saying? I remember when it came. I was sitting at T-House, man, and Trad called me, asked me about something, and all that stuff came right to my head, right there in there on the spot where I'm sitting at her dining room table. I wasn't even thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? And it was on a Tuesday, and I came with it that Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? I'll never forget that. Then it was told somebody else came with it briefly that Friday, and then Trad came behind it that Saturday afternoon. You know what I'm saying? Nigga tell me he blaspheming. He blaspheming. Man, don't stop being dumb all your life. Nigga told you the Tower of Babel was wicked and you just went with it. You ain't read nothing about it. You just ran with it. He said, therefore the Yahudim sought the more to kill him, because he's not only had broken Shabbat, but also said that Elohim was his father, making himself equal with Elohim. Then answered Yahushua and said unto them, truly, truly, I say unto you, the Son can do nothing of himself but what he see the Father do. For what things soever he do, these also do the Son likewise. For the Father loved the Son and show him all things that himself do, and will show him greater works than these, that ye may marvel. He also came and told us what? What I doing, you're going to do greater than I do. All these people do were trying to build up. They wanted, and you sit back and look at it, these people wanted to be with Yah. They say, well, let's make us a city whose top reached to Shamaym, whose top is eternal. In my Father's house, there's many mansions. I go to prepare a place for you. That's all these people sit back looking at. You got a spot up there for, because we want to be with you. They say we want a name in a city. So if they sitting there trying to build a tower at the top reach to Shamaym, then they sit back looking at, we want our name written here. What man wouldn't want his name written there? I had a woman coming at me talking about some old Isaiah chapter 4, say we gonna get 7 wives. This was a woman stamping this here. I said, you do know that's not talking about that, right? I said, you do know you quoted verse 3 when it say everybody whose name is written in Jerusalem. You do know this the kingdom, right? What is your stupid behind gonna be freaking for? You ain't gonna have no blood. You know what I'm saying? What is you having sex for? Sex is for reproduction. Now that doesn't mean, because you got some people be like, if you ain't trying to have no baby, you ain't got no business having sex. You get married, you can have all the sex you want to have. You know what I'm talking about? It's just not for just making babies, but at the end of the day, that's its cause, is to reproduce. So if you are as the Malachim, what do you need to have? You know, people fight against that when they read that in Matthew. Did man say you're going to be like the Malachim? The children of the resurrection going to be like the Malachim. So what I need to have sex, what am I going to be in the kingdom of YAH for having sex? For what? Don't you realize who once your body secretions come out of you, you unclean? Don't you realize after that, you going to have to get from right? That means he can't never come dwell with us, because this man ain't dwelling in nothing unclean. Do you see how retardedly carnal people is? I ain't just talking about the level of stupidity. I'm talking about the carnal mind that you sitting there thinking about. Everything around you is eternal, but you're going to be bumping and grinding. What is the purpose of that? Them one West can't tell you they going to be having kids and the baby, they just going to be spitting them out. Really? This woman gonna be producing babies where she gotta be unclean for 40 to 81 days? To the fact that she gonna actually have to come outside New Jerusalem because she can't stay there? Because you can't come in the sanctuary unclean and there shall be no temple in it because Yahuwah Elohim and the Lamb are the temple of it? So she got to go outside of it? Are you that retarded? Are you that ignorant of the Torah?
Oh, the answer is yes.
You know what I'm saying? And then they get mad at you when you say this stuff. Then you go to run it. And what's the Hebrew favorite thing? Precept of Lord, precept. Then you go to run it down. See, you reaching right now. Well, come on, brother Lord, just back up. Nigga, we not having no kids, nigga. What this woman talking about? I'm living forever. I'm worrying about having a baby. I just hope my children obey this word so they here with me, or in the hell they gonna burn. You know what I'm talking about? And I ain't gonna shed their tear about it. They be like, mama, shoot, don't mama me now, nigga. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm turning my head. But the book say you gonna abhor them. So that means mama, daddy, sister, brother, you know what I'm talking about? Sons, daughters, you gonna look at them like, nigga, you an enemy of mine. Man, I'm talking about people don't want to hear stuff like that because that cut to the bone because you don't want to sit back and look at it. I hate who hate y'all, so hey, you hate y'all, I hate you too. I mean, I don't want to do nothing to you. But get from around me. What you saying that song? If you ain't talking scripture, you better get out my face. You ain't talking about y'all, just go and get out my face, man. You know what I'm saying? Just go and see. Most people don't sit back and look at that because they entertain a lot of nonsense. John chapter 15, that's what I want. Yeah, we'll use that. 15 and 7. Remember now, if the people is one language and they one, that means they was abiding in something. Because what Ephesians 4 tell them? One body, one faith, one ruach, one immersion. And it says, if you abide in me and my words abide in you, you shall ask what you will and it shall be done unto you. Herein is my Father esteemed that you bear much fruit, so that you may be my disciples. As the Father hath loved me, so have I loved you. Continue ye in my love. If you keep my commandment, you shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. These things have I spoken unto you. That ain't what I wanted. I think what I wanted is Matthew. Come over here. It might be Mark. That ain't what I wanted. I thought he was going to say what I wanted. That ain't what I wanted. Come over here to Mark. That is not what I want. We might have to do Matthew. I know I asked for Matthew chapter 18 earlier, and we ain't never get there to it. Matthew chapter 21 and 21. Yeah, when we were talking about that humbling, because we already know, right, what really was with the stone, right? You know what I say, he cast him in the depths with that stone? Well, we turn around and you look at that, what we see Hamashiach say, if you offend even one of these little ones, it was better for you a millstone would hung for your neck and you would drown in the sea, because that what happened to Pharaoh. They were offending the little ones, they were offending us, and guess what happened to him? He got cast into the sea, millstone tied to his neck, drowning right in the sea. Where you think he get that from? You know what I'm saying? Straight up and down. But see, these niggas know the law so well, though. See, I told you too, I'm finna hit it in a minute. Because see, why I had been sitting in my mind like this, well, where I'm going to get that twinkling of the eye? I know it's in there. I'm finna show you. You know what I'm saying? He said the twinkling of the eye, you're going to be changed. I got 3 of them.
The only place I think was with Moses coming down from that mountain, his face shone.
That's one of them. That's one of them. That is one of them.
Other than that, I look hard.
I got two more though, but that is one of them. That's absolute. That's absolute. Because in the twinkling of an eye, bam, he would change. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't gonna get all. Obviously, we ain't gonna get all the way in that shadow of death like I want to. We ain't really touched it too tough. You know what I'm saying? But that's what we sitting back looking at it to be changed. Because corruption cannot inherit incorruption. You know what I'm saying? See, it was one of the things that I'm gonna hit Most High with. I'm gonna sit back and show this here, right? Remember, say the master said, "You will not suffer my Kadesh one to see corruption." When we look at most of the people who were resurrected in the book who died, they weren't dead long. The reason being to show you that there's a statement of when Mashiach say, "You won't suffer me to see corruption," we can see that with the other people. You know what I'm talking about? Because they didn't get to that point. You know what I'm saying? The closest one to it with Lazarus, they say, "Oh, by now he probably stink." You know what I'm saying? So he got the framework, whether Lazarus, whether it was Elisha when he did it, or Elijah when he did it, to sit back and show that this is actually pointing to him, especially the story with Elijah when he did his. Matter of fact, I got some stuff in the cut for Elisha when he did his too, that is pointing to him. And it's also showing us that when he dwell in us, though we be dead, we will not suffer corruption. You know what I'm saying? Corruption gonna come from the second death. You know what I'm saying? See, you ain't gonna be corruptible. Reason being, because though you be dead, life be in you. Like when we were talking to the brother in the barbershop, he was like, so when you die, your spirit leave. I say, no, you gotta sit back and we gotta look at it in the framework what it means. When you die, you got, basically, you have to separate it. I had to tell a young lady this one time. She was like, everybody got the Holy Spirit. I say, no, everybody don't. I say, everybody got the man's spirit in them, because spirit mean breath. Breath of life. Like, I ain't even know no Hebrew then, but I already know this here. I breathed in him and he became a living soul. That's his spirit. That's his breath. Just sitting back looking at the verses. He said he takes back the spirit which he gave you. That's his breath. Everybody got that. But everybody don't have the Ruach HaKodesh. See, that's different. See, now the Ruach HaKodesh coming in, and that's going to replace that blood, which is the life. You know what I'm saying? Because a body without blood is dead. You know what I'm saying? A body without Ruach is dead. You know what I'm talking about? So if you don't got no Ruach, you dead. You know what I'm talking about? It's a different. He was like, okay. I say, man, the problem with it come in with the word. Like I told him, man, straight him down. White man can't tell me nothing about this book. I'm not even going to entertain it. You know what I'm saying? Like I was telling Trad last night, them Gentiles actually go through the Hebrew picture graph and breaking down them words and the characters and what they mean. They do it harder than we do. And I still ain't finna sit down and listen to them. Because the difference being is, they can tell you what them characters mean and be like, yeah, but they can't go in that book and give you no understanding with it though. They'll post you some memes all day long with them characters. Hallelujah mean this, Torah mean this word mean. They can do that all day long. But they can't go in that book and give you no understanding. You know what I'm saying? They can draw me some Hebrew up all day and they get finished. Now let a real Hebrew show you. You sit your monkey behind down, don't you never get up again. You know what I'm talking about? Don't you never get up again. And you know, it's some Hebrews that don't mind going down, sitting and listening to Caucasians teaching the word. I am not one of them. That man gave an explicit construction, an explicit commandment. Do not set anyone over you that is not of your people. You know what I'm talking about? Every time you look at it, he say your governors and nobles will be of them. You don't never read nowhere amongst our people where somebody, I'm talking about in any capacity, where it was somebody else that was not of us, that was over us. Was there ever a high priest that was of our people, of another people over you? What about a king? Unless we were in captivity. Did that ever happen? How many scribes and preachers and elders you read about, boy, that was another people? Boy, you sit back and look at Ezra, boy, they told him straight him down. You ain't got no part, no lot, it didn't matter. You gonna sit down somewhere. You ain't got no nothing to do with it. They said, don't mean we don't got no love for you now. Don't mean ain't got no love for you. We got love for you, man. We can sit down here, man. We can feast it up. We can go through the book all you want. But you sit your monkey behind down, you talking about building this house. I don't need your help.
You ever heard that Caleb was an Edomite?
Yeah, I done heard people talk about that. You know what I'm saying? And I know the reason why people do that is they basing that off of his name.
No, if you look,
They're talking about his daddy's name, if you know what I'm
but
saying.
then when you really look, it's another father. His name Yefunah, from the tribe of Judah.
I already know he from the, and you know why you said, and I'm glad you said it right. See, they doing that, but I know why they did the Caleb is Edomite thing. Because of Esau the white man. That's why they did it. So then they see Caleb is Edomite, so they gonna get in. Show you the stupidity of a nigga though. Now, I had never even looked that far with it. But remember when we go down and when you look at Numbers, I think it's a 12, when they give the names of all the people of the tribes and they say the tribe of Judah, Caleb is mentioned.
Because his daddy. Okay, it's like this. His mama, Caleb got a brother. What's his brother's name?
I can't recall it off my head.
Ophniel.
Ophniel.
Yeah.
Okay, his
Yeah.
Ophniel is an Edomite. If you look at Ophniel's father, his father is that Edomite from the tribe, from Edom. But then when you look at Caleb, his father is
That's right here.
Judah.
In 13 and 6 of Numbers, of the tribe of Judah, Caleb, the son of Yephthah.
Yephthah. Okay, so that's what it says for Caleb. But then when we see his brother, you got to figure out, okay, if the scripture's saying that they brothers,
They have brothers.
It's saying that Caleb daddy is this, and it's saying that bruh daddy is this. That means they got different daddies, and that bruh is from Edom, and Caleb is from
Absolutely. But I mean, and without even looking at all that, the book say he can't be from Edom and Judah.
Yeah, so you got to figure out which one. And then we broke it down. His mama had two. She got 2 kids, 2 different guys.
Hey man, mom's free. You know what I'm talking about? But at the end of the day, and that's the proper way to do it. Because for me, I killed them niggas just like this here. What tribe he say he from? Judah. End of discussion. Law say he from Judah. Well, his dad. Law say he from Judah. Well, the law wouldn't even put this man. And hold on, right? Because I'm gonna sit back and show you, right? Come on to number 13 and 6. Well, I know we getting a little off track, but just sit back and look at it. Look at verse 3. Because if y'all do this, y'all going against his own law now. If this man's an Edomite, y'all breaking his own law.
Say, hold on, wait. I was agreeing with you.
Number 13, well, praise y'all for that. Number 13 and 3. Matter of fact, make it 2. I'll just read one so we can know that y'all talking. Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, Send thou men that they may search the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children of Yasharal. Of every tribe of their fathers shall you send a man, every one a ruler among them. So guess what? The tribe of their fathers. That means Caleb daddy got to be from Yahuwah.
So he would put the Edomite over the people.
And Moses, by commandment of Yahuwah, sent them from the wilderness.
Here go.
Yeah.
That's what they get in verse 9. And when the children of Yasharal cried out to Yahuwah, Yahuwah raised up a savior for the children of Yasharal who saved them. Ophniel.
What verse? Where you at?
Verse
Judges
9.
3.
Judges 3, verse 9.
Okay, hold on.
Ophniel.
Hold on. Let me finish this one here. Then we'll go read that so they can
But he
hear.
can't be an Edomite.
Listen here, love. Let's see it, because he just pulled out the other thing. We're going to make this clear. Y'all bear with me. So he said, and Moses, by commandment of Yahuwah, sent them from the wilderness of Paran. All those men were heads of the children of Yasharal. And the names, these were the names of the tribe, of the tribe of Reuben, Shema the son of Zaccur. Of the tribe of Simeon, Shaphat the son of Hori. Of the tribe of Yehuda, Caleb the son of Yephthah. Now you say Judges 3 and 9. I'm going to look at Judges 3 and 5. Let me see what 3 is.
Verse 9 is where they get in that hit Edomite.
Okay, listen to verse 5 though. It says, and the children of Yasharal dwelt among the Canaanites. This is Judges 3 and 5. And the Hittites and the Amorites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites. And they took their daughters to be their wives and gave their daughters to their sons and served their gods. And the children of Yasharal did evil in the sight of Yahuwah and forgot Yahuwah their Elohim and served Balaam in their groves. And I got this ready too. So I knew I was going to go ahead and go through this here. Therefore the anger of Yahuwah was hot against Yasharal, and he sold them into the hand of Cushan, Rimath, king of Mesopotamia, and the children of Yasharal served Kishah, Ristam 8 years. And when the children of Yasharal cried unto Yahuwah, Yahuwah raised up a deliverer to the children of Yasharal, who delivered them, even Ophniel the son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother.
See, now back in Numbers, it said that Caleb's father name is Yephunah. So then when you see that Caleb's younger brother,
And it says he got a whole nother daddy.
his daddy name is Kenaz. So you like, okay, well Ophniel daddy named Kenaz, but Caleb's daddy named Yephunah. If you didn't know that Caleb's daddy name was Yephunah,
They gonna get you.
reading that scripture, they gonna see his brother is a Edomite, therefore Caleb is a what?
A Edomite.
Well, I'm confused because he just said that he ain't never put nobody.
See, he raised
No, we know
See,
that.
the difference is he said he raised him up to be a deliverer.
Right.
So I'm saying now, you looking at a deliverer, he's raising him up to be a savior, but he's not a head over the people. He's just somebody coming to save. And the only reason why he even get a chance to come do that, because he got half Judah in his blood.
Yeah, he's still grafted in through his mama is from Judah. His daddy.
His name actually means Lion of Elohim.
Right. I know it's something else. Yeah, but I'm just.
But see, the difference is like a deliverer is something a little different than a head. You know what I'm talking about? Because anybody can be a deliverer. Because a deliverer is just a savior. You know what I'm saying? So he's raising him up to save. He didn't set him up over the people
To lead.
to lead. You know what I'm saying? Like he got them 12 prince. Like each one of those men in that's mentioned in them tribes is the apostles.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think, and then you see Yahushua son of Nun is the master. You know what I'm talking about? So you see in that framework, I got my 12 princes, my 12 nobles, and they from their own kind.
Well, I mean, that I understand. So he's somebody that's not full-blooded. He's still gonna send him to save.
The same way we can sit back and say that at the same time, because you can look at Timothy, and that's where you get the framework for Timothy, because he's not full-blooded either. His mama was a Greek.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's where you get that set to that framework. That's why Timothy was never ever set over no head of no congregation. He was a minister. He told him he was young and he was mixed. Because remember, Paul say, I'm going to go ahead and circumcise you because the people tripping. You know what I'm talking about? Let's look at that for Timothy, matter of fact, since I say that. I'm trying to remember what that's at. Acts chapter 14, I want to say.
That's why they don't want Ruth to be a Moabite.
It's her.
It's just all like what you said. Why would he have a different nation set up for where the Mashiach stem from?
That's not Acts 14. Where is this at? See, and I'm glad that you mentioned that because I say to give a framework for where Timothy come in at. Because you know, some people got upset because it's a congregation we know that had it's Acts 16 that had a Caucasian preaching there. Some brothers ain't got no problem with it. Others did because they like you got somebody set up over the people that's a stranger. You know what I'm saying? But we gonna look at Timothy. Timothy was mixed. He wasn't fooled. But see, I guess to see the difference because you ain't got nan tapping you. You know what I'm saying? Timothy had something in him though. 16:1 Acts though. He say, then he came to Derbe and Lystra, and behold, a certain disciple was there named Timotheus, the son of a certain woman, which was a Jewess, just like Otheum.
Oh, okay, but his father.
He say, and believed, but his father was a Greek.
Same way.
Okay.
He say, which was well reported of by the brethren that was at Lystra and Iconium. Him would Paul have to go forth with him, and took him and circumcised him because of the Yahudim which were in those quarters, for they all knew his father was a Greek. You know what I'm saying? See, told YAH for the law. See, it's always gonna be there, but them niggas don't be knowing it. You know what I'm saying? See, Timothy was a Jew. No, he wasn't, bro. Well, where you gonna sit back? Antioch is the prime example. Mama a Jew, daddy a Gentile. Timothy, mama a Jew, daddy a Gentile. Antioch was a disciple just like this here. He in the land because he Caleb people. You know what I'm talking about?
Straight up.
He in the land because he Caleb people.
I mean, he married Caleb's daughter, so.
You know what I'm saying? Which is wild in itself, but we're gonna leave that alone. You know what I'm talking about? Let's go to Psalm 106. Yeah, see
No,
that.
but that's not in the law because I went to look.
Yeah, it's not in the law. That's why I say.
It say your father and all the people.
Yeah, you can't do
But
that.
they don't say nothing about your brother.
No. Yeah, he ain't do nothing wrong. It's say that's why I say it's just wild in itself. He ain't do nothing wrong though.
It is wild though.
He ain't do nothing wrong. But it's just, but I told y'all for this. It's just a simple fact, just something that simple. That's what dudes will sit back and look at, right? Because I ain't never sat around and thought about that. I've been sitting back looking at, boy, I know Caleb wasn't no Edomite. Not because I don't want him to be an Edomite. Because the book say he from Judah. That's the end of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But then I ain't sat back and look at, okay, that's where they run to. Well, okay, boom. Well, he would mix. So with Timothy, what's your point? Because he told Timothy to go preach the word. He said, let no man despise thy youth. You know what I'm talking about? When they sit back and mention, he say the faith that you seen in your grandmama and your mother. They ain't never mentioned nothing about his daddy, because the daddy ain't had no faith. That's why he was a Greek. He was a Greek. You know the book, well, they gonna mention anybody about you set something about for, they gonna mention Pops, man. They ain't mention Pops. We back in Psalm 107, no. I know these niggas like, these niggas crazy over here. What's wrong with them niggas? Look here, man. I got an hour and 46 minutes. I got 45 more minutes to go. Because I got to get the twinkle of an eye on here today. So when we sit back and look at it, right? He say he satisfied the longing soul, filled the hungry soul with goodness. That wasn't where we was at, though. Where we was at for this? Oh, we were talking about that house. Right? Get this Hebrew chapter 11. I know I had mentioned Numbers or Revelation 15 long time ago. Ain't never get back to it. We were talking about that tower, right? Having a habitation, right? And a name and a city. You know what I'm saying? We'll sit back, we looking for a city. Hebrews 11 and 12. Therefore sprang there even warning of him and him as good as dead. So as many the stars of the sky in multitude, and as the sand which is by the seashore innumerable. These all died in faith, having not received the promises, but having seen them afar off, were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on their rest. For they say that say such things, declare plainly they seek a country. And truly, if they had been mindful of that country whence they came out, they might have had opportunity to have returned. These people were mindful of where they had done came from, and they were trying to they were declaring, we strangers and pilgrims. He said, but they desire a better country. That is a heavenly, wherefore Elohim is not ashamed to be called the Elohim, for he hath prepared for them a city. See, they were trying to get something done before with time. You know what I'm saying? Because he said they were of one language and nothing was restrained from them. Don't you realize, and I know I mentioned Matthew 21 and 21, but we got to go back and read it. Because what did he say? He said, if you have the faith of a mustard seed, you can look at this mountain and say, remove, and it shall be removed. That nothing shall be restrained for anybody who believes. You know what I'm saying? That's what he was sitting back looking at with these people. That if they able to get up there to him and dwell with him, nothing can be restrained for him. Why? Because Yah is going to have to grant all their requests. They had a name. They're going to have a name in shamaym and a habitation. We seek to dwell in a heavenly city, a city that's on high. We're trying to get where they exalted, the high ones who exalted themselves, that got tossed down and left from. We're trying to get where they was at. She going hard in the paint, ain't it? What's the next thing I had in my mind to look at?
She came home with it.
What that is? I'm just looking at this. 2 Peter chapter 3. 2 Peter chapter 3 verse 11. Make it 10. Ooh, boy, it is cold in here.
And the other one fell behind my bed.
Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, I'm sorry, I said 10, but the day of the master will come as a thief in the night, in which the shamaym will pass away with great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The arats also, and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought you to be in all kadesh, conduct, and godliness, looking for the hasting unto the coming day of Elohim, wherein the shamaym being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for a new shamaym and a new arats where dwell in righteousness. Now, he told you in Ezekiel, I set my sanctuary in the midst of them, and I will dwell with them, and they'll dwell with me. That's looking at it just on the natural level. Even though that's not natural, that means I'm going to send my son, you dwell in him and he dwell in you. But then at the same time, we're looking at that he say the tabernacle of Elohim is with men and he shall dwell with them. Because we don't got to get it. In Revelation 3 and 12, he say in the city, New Jerusalem, which come down from shamaym, right? Then he say you the same thing in Revelation 21. That's what he had to stop them from. Because they were trying to get something before the time. Because he said they were of one language, one speech. The people were one. We know full well that man say it's one body. And the one body is seeking what? A habitation in shamaym. And they seeking a name written in shamaym. The things that are eternal. That's going into they hungered and thirsted and they fainted. So he gave them what? Bread and water. So he's sitting back looking at us. We hungering and we thirsting and we about to faint. So what did he do? He gave you this man flesh, which he give for the life of the world, and the Ruach HaKodesh that a man would never thirst. This is why he say understanding is a wellspring of life to them that have it. Because once you begin to open up the scriptures, and he say he opened up their understanding that they might understand the scriptures. Basically what it's coming down to is you understand the plan of Yahuwah. You know what I'm saying? When you understand the plan of Yahuwah, then what do you have access to? The only way you can understand the plan of Yahuwah is twofold. The righteous obedience of faith. You believe, therefore you obey. You know what I'm talking about? Then guess what that is? That begins to well that water up in you because the Ruach is in you. You got to realize something. When the master was up on the stake and he said he thirsted, he was getting ready to die. You know what I'm talking about? This Ruach finna get ready to pour. I ain't got no water. We got to get some water. You know what I'm saying? Man, these people out here playing games. Like I'm saying to tell you, man, because I said I done had this conversation numerous times before, right? You know what I'm saying? Nigga be like, boy, anybody can do what you doing. Maybe they can. You know what I'm talking about? But then if that's the case, why everybody in the world don't know who this man is? Why is people still asking questions on what this script mean? What this script mean? What this talking about? What this talking about? That means everybody can't do it. Just knowing the stories is not enough. Because it's Christian preachers who know all the stories and can't give you no understanding. They have no wellspring of life in them. It's Hebrew dudes that know all the stories. I'm talking about, and you know they probably know them backwards and forwards and backwards, inside and out. And they ain't got no wellspring of water in them. That don't make me special. You know what I'm talking about? It just reminds us of what the words say in two places, what the master said in Matthew. One in Matthew 13, where he said the kingdom of shamaym was like a man who found a great treasure and he took it in his field and hid it. You know what I'm saying? That means it's rare. You know what I'm talking about? And the second one was, pray ye to the master of the harvest, that he send laborers into his harvest. For the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. You know what I'm talking about? So that means if the man say the laborers are few, that means it's not that many people relative to the complete population. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean it's not a lot. We're talking about relative to the complete population of the children of Yasharal now. Not the whole world. Of our people. You know what I'm talking about? That means relative to them, it's not that many. You know what I'm saying? If you say if it's 10,000, he might give it to 3,500. You know what I'm saying? And that's a little high in itself. You know what I'm talking about? But when you look at 10,000 people and only 3,500 of them got it, that's a small number. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about that teaching the word. And let's say you sit back out of 10,000, this 3,500 got it, and they got to go feed 1 million people. 3,500 people for 1 million. You know how small that you know how that broke up, that million got to be broke up between that 3,500? You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, they spread out. And they spread out. Like I said, man, I don't know why he chose to visit with it. I appreciate it though, but me just knowing it from talk, I know you know it from dealing with Hebrews. I know you know it. I know you know it. I know it. I know some of y'all on this phone may know it. Sitting back, talking with him and dealing with him. Boy, this thing is rare like a gemstone. Screw a diamond. You know what I'm talking about? Because diamonds ain't rare. But rubies and emeralds and all that type of stuff, those things are rare. You know what I'm talking about? And boy, the knowledge of Yahushua HaMashiach and Ruach and in truth with understanding from what I've seen and my experiences is rare. You know what I'm saying? Not just that, see, that's the master right there. See, that's the Lord right there. See, that's the Mashiach right there. Anybody can do that. I'm not going to deny that. Anybody can do that. Anybody can see this talking about him. You see that right there? Anybody can do that. Okay, explain to me what it means. Give me some understanding. Anybody can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Because I sit back and see these niggas argue about some of the most asinine things on a regular basis. I'll give you an example before we proceed. You come back to Psalm 107. Do you know how many niggas mock us for saying that Mashiach went through the curses in the law? How could you say that? I'm using this as a segue to slide into this Lucifer thing. So let's sit back and look at it. Try to slide on in on that. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm just messing with y'all. But no, we got to deal with something with this light though. And it's at the bottom of that Psalms 107. Is it at the bottom of the Psalm 107? It's actually in I know where it's at. It's in Job. So when we look at all these things, right? He satisfied the law and soul that sit in darkness in verse 10, I'm right? And the shadow of death, being bound in affliction and iron. We know they put Mashiach in fetters of iron. He was bound in affliction, he in that shadow of death, right? Because they rebelled against the words of the Most High, contemned the counsel of the Most High. That's what we did. So therefore, for that reproach and sin that we did, that's why he say he was made sin who knew no sin, that we could be reconciled back to Elohim. They say he brought their heart down with labor. They fell down and there was none to help. They cried unto Yahuwah in their trouble, and he saved them out of their distresses. He brought them out of the darkness and the shadow of death and break their bands asunder. Well, we know, well, Mashiach cried out, right? When his blood hit the ground, just like Abel gave a better witness of a better sacrifice. Therefore, he broke the bands asunder because he said it was not, he loosed them from the pains of death. It wasn't possible that he could be holden by it. Same way with Samson, he broke it. What was the strength? It was the Ruach of Yahuwah, which broke it. So you turn around looking at it, you going through this shadow of death, you got these distresses and you got these afflictions. You know what I'm saying? All this stuff really is to get you in line with his word, but everybody ain't gonna be able to go through it. You know what I'm saying? You just had got where somebody telling me, it was like, everything that's happening to me is so weird and crazy. It ain't weird and crazy. You're not looking at the understanding of why you're going through what you're going through. You're going through what you're going through because the man is trying to perfect you. because you hadn't been paying attention to the word, you're not catching that. So you just thinking stuff is just randomly happening to you. Well, this man is trying to shake up your whole, I'm putting it to you this way. And I know for that individual, when it's all said and done, and it happened. When the man fully humble you down and break you all the way down, you'll have no choice but to look up unto him and say, I have offended, I shall offend no more. Or I see now that I must seek you and only you, and everything that is contrary to you, that is in the midst of me, I will remove it, and the pathway that you want me to go in is the way that I shall go. If that individual has a humble heart, that doesn't matter who it is. You know what I'm saying? Because that's his purpose of doing, that's what he was doing to him in the wilderness. See, right now I'm trying to get you hungry, I'm trying to get you thirsty, so you be about to faint, so you come holler at me. So you realize you live off me, not off yourself, not off your desires, not off the people around you, but off me. He got to take anybody who's gonna be saved. You got to go through that. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody telling me, like they were told, dude, was preaching about, hey man, ain't no need of being sad. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Now for me, I'm sitting back looking in the book, and boy, the book don't say that. Now I don't know everywhere that he went through it with, but I'm sitting back looking at it. It say sorrow make the heart stronger. You know what I'm talking about? That's what I'm sitting back looking at. But then I'm also looking at when you're dealing with those type of sorrows, whatever it may be. I know according to my understanding, because like I say, I don't know all what was mentioned, that those sorrows are getting you conformed to this man's image because he's making you a partaker of his suffering. And that if we're being made partakers of his sufferings, we're being made partakers of his sufferings for one reason and one reason alone. And that is to be purged and to be made white and to be made perfected. And that is just the sorrows are just for a small time to endure. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna last forever. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna be but for a season, and for us a season is 6 months. You know what I'm talking about? So ain't gonna last too long. You know what I'm saying? 6 months seems like a long, you know, it's my season. Nigga don't even realize, nigga, that's 6 months though. You know what I'm saying? The season ain't but 6 months. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just mentioning that so when you talk about, I'm walking in my season, just know your season ain't finna end in about 3 more days, nigga, because it's been about 4 or 5 months. You know what I'm saying? Just know it's finna end. But literally though, when you say I'm walking in my season, the book say there's a time and a season for everything. A season is 6 months. You got 6 months summer, 6 months winter, right? It's 6 months. When you look at it, when you're going through something, 6 months seems like 60 years. You know what I'm talking about? But in actuality, that's really just a short period of time. That's just a short period of time. Even when you look at Mashiach's season of suffering, it was but a short period of time. You know what I'm saying? It didn't seem short while you're dealing with it, though. You know what I'm saying? It don't never seem short while you, and that doesn't mean that you in a season that it's literally gonna last 6 months and then it's over. You know what I'm talking about? Because it could extend a little longer. You might go 2 seasons, might go 3. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, hopefully you don't go 4. That's a long time. That's 2 years. You know what I'm saying? But hey, just know that just like it's a time for good, it's a time for evil, it's a time for sorrows, it's a time for joy. You know what I'm saying? You'll come up out of that. But when one of the verse I didn't read say he led them in a right way that they might have a city of habitation. Mashiach say he the way, the truth, and the life, right? He's the one to lead. As he say, in my Father's house there's many mansions. I go to prepare a place for you. I'm going to prepare a place for you to dwell. Why Paul in 2 Corinthians 5 say we got a tabernacle in shamaym. You know what I'm saying? That's what we look at. The only way you're going to be able to get that those afflictions is going to break you. So I ain't going to never tell nobody, oh man, ain't no need to, depending on what it is. Now, if you just complaining like a little Nancy boy, that's different. There's a difference between whining, murmuring, and complaining and real live grief and sorrow. It's real life thing. You can look at somebody and be like, boy, yeah, life beating him down right now. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up, man. You know the difference up, man, I ain't got, man, nigga, stop whining like a little, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, no Nancy boy, nigga, stand up and pee, nigga, stop crying. You know what I'm talking about? But then there's a difference, like, you know, bruh sad, he's down, he's low. There's a difference. I can't tell nobody when they actually sorrowing how long it's gonna take you to get over some sorrow, because everybody's different. You know what I'm saying? You know the biggest problem that we done came in or dealing with our people is we got to act like we got to be cold-blooded all the time. And the moment you show any type of weakness or vulnerability, period, nigga mock you and laugh at you about it. You know what I'm saying? When in actuality, that's not a representation of the person who's showing that. That's more got to say about you. Because you don't want nobody, and everybody like that. You don't want nobody to see you like that. Oh, them nigga called and dropped. You know what I'm saying? You don't want nobody to see you like that, though. Cause when somebody see you like that, you know what is her hat, and you feel like they're gonna look at you different. You know what I'm saying? And that's what niggas be ready to do. That's what niggas be ready to do.
It ain't not bother me.
I mean, if everybody different though. You know what I'm saying? Now I know like this here, like boy, I ain't never been one to show no manner of vulnerability to no human being. You know what I'm talking about? Period. Just cause I know how people gonna play you. You know what I'm saying? That ain't never been something that I was gonna do. You know what I'm saying? At all, ever. Period. No shape, form, or fashion. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the first time in my life me actually ever doing that at all. You know what I'm saying? And then niggas reacted in the exact way that I knew niggas was gonna react. Especially when they look at you, that nigga say he was this, that, there, and the third. Like everybody got that type of stuff with them. You just don't let everybody see it. You know what I'm saying? Then when they finally do see it, the reason being because niggas be ready to mock it. You know what I'm saying? They be ready to mock you all the time. You know what I'm saying? That's why we've been looking at it and stuff where when you weak, then you strong and all this here. And Paul saying, I'm esteeming in my infirmities and my weaknesses. Because we always get the reverse. Esteem in how strong you are and not in how weak you are. Then instead of the flip side, the book telling us the glory and the weaknesses that you might be strong. Because then it's showing you the power of Mashiach is resting on you. And that's the thing that everybody wants to buck. They want to buck the suffering. They want to buck the sorrow. They want to buck the weaknesses. You know what I'm saying? They might look at we got trials and tribulations. They don't want to buck that part, but then they don't want to look at the intrinsic part of how that would affect you. Because if you being afflicted and you gonna I ain't met a nigga yet go through something he wasn't sad. You didn't tell me that lie. You was smiling and grinning the whole time. You know what I'm talking about? It's just who you allowed to see you sad. You know what I'm talking about? Because when you were going through it, you let somebody see. You know what I'm talking about? It's a different with those who will let everybody see. You know what I'm saying? Because then when you letting everybody see, then the difference with that is that might give somebody strength who going through it for them to keep on push. That's what nigga don't want to do. That's why I read you that what Tony put. He said if the leaders would show their vulnerabilities, then the people might be healed. Niggas don't want to show their vulnerabilities. You know what I'm saying? Mashiach showed all his vulnerabilities and all his frailties and weaknesses when he was in this flesh. You know what I'm saying? Nigga don't want to do that. Niggas don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So then when you look at it, you know, breaking out the darkness of the shadow of death, we see breaking us from the shadow of death is saving our souls alive, right? But let's look at this nigga got Nilla wafers. 1 Corinthians chapter 15. Yeah, you're going to have to swing some on here.
Hey.
Nigga, so I know you had all the friends in school.
I didn't used to share.
Golly!
I'm into it.
1 Corinthians 15 and 15. Nigga say you ain't share.
I started sharing to college.
They say you got the snack bag and you don't share. Yeah, you pass them around. They say you got around here, you smoking all the weed and got the snack bag. Here you go, Troy. And don't want to sell them with no vanilla wafer parfaits, huh?
Oh no.
1 Corinthians 15 and 50. We're gonna wrap this up in a minute. He say, now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Elohim. Neither doth corruption inherit incorruption. We already know this. We done looked at it before. Adam not getting kicked out the garden, stuck from the tree of life. You can't get in here. He say, behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we all shall be changed. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption. That's good. Nigga call back, they just gonna be mad. So go to Exodus chapter 4. Hey. Exodus 4 about 5. Hold on one second. All right. Make it 4, I'm sorry. Oh, no, 5 is good. That they may believe that Yahuwah Elohim of their fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, and the Elohim of Jacob have appeared unto them. Yahuwah said furthermore unto him, put now thy hand into thy bosom. He put his hand into his bosom, And when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. And he said, put thy hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into thy bosom again and plucked it out of his bosom. And behold, it was turned again as his other flesh. And it shall come to pass that they will not believe thee, neither hearken to the voice of the first sign, they will believe the voice of the latter sign. When we look at the Hebrew word for leprous here, I know I'm going to mispronounce it, so I'm going to let the white man say it.
Strong's H, 6879. Tsarah. Tsarah.
You, you know what it means? To be diseased of the skin. To be leprous, right? So when he put his hand in there, it was diseased, right? Go to Job chapter 30. I'm straight on that. I thank you for sharing, though. If I was old and you tuned it up for me, I might appreciate that. Let's see if that's Job 30. I got something in Job 38 too. I got here. That was not Job 30 that I want. Where is that at? I'm trying to find the verse that I want in Job is he saved by the reason of my disease, my garment is changed. 18. What verse that is?
30 and 18.
30 and 18. Okay, I was right the first time. Mm-hmm. Mine ain't too bad. Sometimes. Job 30 and 18. Make it 17. Make it 16, matter of fact. 15 even better. Make it 14. They came upon me as a wide breaking in of waters, and the desolation they rolled themselves upon me. This the people. Terrors are turned upon me. They pursue my soul as the wind, my welfare pass away as a cloud. And now my soul is poured out upon me. The days of affliction have taken hold upon me. This is him praying. My bones are pierced in me in the night season. My sinews take no rest. I'm exceedingly sorrowful even unto death. I'm going to tell you something, right? Now you heard what he said, right? The day, because I'm going to tell you this is just for me. He said the days of his affliction is upon him, right? Now y'all know I was depressed for about 6 months. You know what I'm talking about? And in that same thing you sitting back looking at when you that sorrowful, that's just how you feeling. I'm pierced in the night season, my sinews take no rest, meaning I can't sleep. Go ahead. And I was today like, you know, because you done been with me like, and this crazy nigga finna go in here and lift 300 pounds. And he just told me he been asleep now, and we been out here going from construction site to construction site, and now this nigga finna go lift some weights, looking at me, and I can see the nigga tired too. You can see it in my face, like this nigga might fall asleep right now. And guess what I'm finna go do? I'm finna go deadlift this 320 real fast, you know, and went in there and did it like I had got a full night's rest. Yeah, that wasn't wise. He say, by great force of my disease is my garment changed. It bind me as the collar of my coat. Well, when you sit back and look at it, his garment is his body. We see Moses sticking his hand in there and it come out leprous. It's diseased. You know what I'm saying? So we sitting back looking at this here. When we look at this body, it is diseased. It's something that's diseased. It's corruptible. Now, when he say he pulled it out like his other flesh. Now, we got the reason why we sitting back looking at it, because obviously know it's talking about, you know, this is regular flesh. But then we got to actually have some understanding. Because when Mashiach rose from the dead, what he told his disciples? A spirit don't have bones like you see me, flesh and bone like you see me have. So when we actually put our spiritual eyes on and see, the leprous hand is symbolizing the death of this flesh. The corruptible nature of this flesh. Him putting it back in and pulling it back out in a twinkling of an eye. It was changed. You know what I'm saying? The latter sign. The corruption put on incorruption. You know what I'm saying? Just that fast. Boom. You know what I'm saying? Because he said, by reason of force, my garment is changed. So now let's sit back and look at it. That we're going to get 2 Corinthians chapter 5. I mentioned it, but we're going to look at it. And see, that's the simple part. And I say, told our Yah for Yahushua, you know what I'm saying? Praise be to the Father for it. But a nigga sit back and say, anybody can do that, though. And I sat back and I've been pondering on this here for months. And I just was hearing the dude talk about something else, and he was talking about something else, and it came to my mind. I'm gonna tell you when it came to my mind. In here. Sitting in here. When I text you that had came to my mind probably about 3 to 5 minutes before I sent that to you. And the dude wasn't even talking about that. He was talking about something else. He said something, I say, pop, there it is. And then boom, boom, 2 more came behind it. But the Moses one is the best one of the 3. You know what I'm saying? Because it's showing you how the corruption came. Then I put away the corruption to put on incorruptible. Like I say, this is the latter sign. You know what I'm saying? See, I'll wait till we off camera. This ain't be recorded to say this here. Because this is what somebody said to me. Because I ain't like this here. I ain't going to be like this here. This because I'll just wait on that one. I don't want nobody to be running back. Because niggas be ready to go tell. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm talking about, Glove told me something. He said, we the laughing stock. They said they been laughing at you. I said, I can't let what the nigga be doing. Oh, they said, man, you going to take back on. Oh, he doing this and he doing that. Go on, take it back to him. But I'm talking about, but boy, just like this here. Hold on, I want. Let me turn it this way because I don't want to scare nobody. But when we come back like this here, all the way like this here, like, BOM! Yeah, you're going to have to take all that bite. You know what I'm saying? All that bite. Straight up and down. Boy, one thing was certain, 2 things was sure. You know niggas, boy, niggas love to kick you when you're down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they hoping that you don't never get back up.
That ain't tight.
No, I'm just saying though, niggas love to, you know when niggas kick you when you're down? Because they don't think you're going to get back up.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
That ain't. I'm just being real. That ain't.
No, it's not. But when you get back up, it's going to kill them. It's going to kill them.
It's like it's gonna kill the people that shaved the Messiah.
Absolutely. Because they kicked him when he was down. I'm gonna just motor on by that. 2 Corinthians 5:3. I'm just gonna motor right on by that.
No, dress me.
I seen your cousin was in the gym like this here. Nigga want to go to the gym, don't want to pay me for it. That's all right, bastard. I bet you won't get all the way right though. No, let me stop. Let me stop. Right this here, right? Make it 2. He say, for in this we groan, earnestly desire to be clothed upon with our house, which is from shamaym. If so being clothed, we shall not be found naked. For that we are in this tabernacle do groan, being burdened, not for that we would be unclothed, but clothed upon that mortality might be swallowed up of life. Do you not realize when he put that his hand in there first? And you can sit back and you can look at that as another testimony of Mashiach. Incorruption, corruption, incorruption again. You know what I'm saying? He look at that mortality being swallowed up alive. He put that hand in there, it come out white. Put it back in, it come back regular. You come back being what you was before. Twinkling of an eye, change, just that fast. They sat there and looked at it. But see, this is the basis of knowing the law. Like I say, dude would talk my son now, but because I know the law and I had already been pondering on. See, I was telling little Stanley's son, because this another thing little Stanley asked me about that I ain't got to yet. See, he the one asked me about the Revelation 12 and going in the law and showing how they got kicked out. I say, just be easy with me, man. It'll come. We was sitting right in the house, right? Just talk. Wasn't even talking about that. Bah! That's how I do it sometimes. If it don't come right then, I'll wait. You know what I'm saying? Because I know if I try to strain myself and stress myself to find it, I ain't gonna find it. You know what I'm saying? So I'll wait. I say, man, I've been sitting there thinking about that twinkling of an eye for a minute. Bah! So the other thing he's looking for, it'll come when y'all ready to give it. When it comes, it's gonna hit harder than Mike Tyson in his prime. But Exodus chapter 34. Mike Tyson hit pretty hard back then. Hey! Nigga ain't want to get hit by Mike back then.
No, sir.
Shoot, nigga don't want to get hit by Mike right now.
I'm sure he still got that power.
Who? Well, that's a, you gotta understand,
That's a big man.
that ain't even, he's not a boxer. That's a fighter.
Yeah.
Like they said, that nigga was running through. I remember MOP say, yeah, we were back in the days just watching Mike Tyson and Shannon Briggs just run through Brooklyn, just beating people up. That's a street nigga
Yeah.
who fights. The only reason why they made him a boxer is so he wouldn't get killed or go to prison, because that's what he was doing. He was beating people up. They said we might as well get him in here and pay him for it, because he had natural raw ability. 34, 28, 29 better. And it came to pass when Moses came down from Mount Sinai with the tables of testimony in Moses' hand, when he came down from the mount, that Moses wist not that the skin of his face shone while he talked with them. And when Aaron and all the children of Yasharal saw Moses, behold, the skin of his face shone, and they were afraid to come nigh. So we see, right? Now, his name was saying we ain't going to say necessarily a twinkling of an eye, because he was there. Because twinkling of an eye, that's fast. You know what I'm saying? So when we see Moses sticking his hand in his bosom and pulling it out and then they come back, that's twinkling. That's fast. That chain fast. But the reason why we got to look at Moses is for this. He went up on the mount, he came back in faith chain, right? Matthew 17. And you know what it is? I'm going to put the twinkling of an eye in the title, and they're going to realize they're going to have to look at the whole thing or fast forward to catch it. Because it's at the end. 17:1. After 6 days, Yahushua took Peter, James, and John, his brother, and bring them up into a high mountain apart, and was transfigured before them. And his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was bright as light. In the twinkling of an eye, he would change right in their face. Before they went up on that mountain, he was just like them. He got up on that mountain, boom. You know what I'm talking about? Twinkling of an eye, change. And you seen corruption put on incorruption right there in their face. You know what I'm saying? Same way they sat back and them people seen Moses, corruption put on incorruption right there in their face. They seen it. He said, behold, there appeared unto them Moses and Elijah talking with him. Then Peter said unto Yahushua, Master, is it good for us to be here? If thou wilt, let us make here 3 tabernacles, one for thee, one for Moses, one for Elijah. While he yet spake, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them. And behold, a voice out of the cloud which said, This is my beloved son in whom I'm well pleased. Hear ye him. You see how they say it was a bright cloud? Now we sit back and look at it, right? The cloud covered Mashiach, which is the shadow of death. So in actuality, it was the Father who covered it. You can even look at the shadow of death and having protection in the shadow of death, because guess when the shadow of death came in the law? You know when the shadow of death came in the law? When he told them, put that blood on the doorpost and the avenger will pass by you, because when did the Egyptians get killed? At nighttime. You know what I'm saying? They didn't even sit back and look. That's why he told them to stay in the house, so you ain't got to wade through the valley of the shadow of death. You know what I'm saying? That's why you sit back and look at the Egyptians went through all the affliction and plagues that we were supposed to go through to become the. That's why he had to kill him in the sea. I can't let you actually come out on the other side. You know what I'm saying? Because you actually been afflicted. This means you come out on the other side according to my law. Even before we even get to, if we just go from Bereshit 1 through 50, we see affliction and people being delivered and Yah being with them. I gotta save you. You know what I'm saying? I got to save you. If I don't, I ain't being just. Job 38.
Something came to my mind.
Go ahead.
When I don't know if it was related to Moses, when he was in put him in the cave, and he put his hand over the cave, and it causes the steam to pass form. And look at the bright cloud overshadowed them.
What place you talking about? What place you talking about? The chapter, book, verse.
When he proclaimed the.
Oh, you talking about 34? We claimed the name of Yah and the cloud passed over.
And he put his hand over him.
And covered him in that. You know what I'm saying? To protect you in the shadow of death. Because he said, if you see my face, you're going to die. But even in that cloud, he had light. See, I'm going to leave this thing here because then he can spell these words all the way out for me. Because it's a whole nother thing. Look at Job 38 and 12. He said, hast thou commanded the morning since thy days and caused the day spring to know his place? Now, the Hebrew word for day spring is shakar, and it means dawn or at dawn, morning, light, and rise. He say in the days he commanded the morning, right? Now, come back and look at Luke 1:79. Because see, we're going to actually touch this here, because I was talking to Trey about this here, because I think I knew that Aaron name mean Lucifer, but I ain't sit back and think about it. So when we sit back and look at it, if Aaron Lucifer, I'm finna get extra Lucifer. Ain't no if, Aaron, I'm finna get extra loose. And I'm gonna tie that with that, and I'm gonna tie this with the day spring. I'm gonna tie it with a whole bunch of other stuff. And I'm gonna make 1,001 niggas mad in one day. 1 and 77. Or 1 and 76. Luke 1 and 76. And we'll stop it right there. This is where we're in that. And thou, child, shalt be called the prophet of the highest, and thou shalt go before the face of Yahuwah to prepare his ways, to give knowledge of salvation unto his people by remission of their sins, through the tender mercy of our Elohim, whereby the day spring from on high have visited us. So if we look at day spring, this is actually day star.
Yes, sir.
Lucifer, O Lucifer, son of the morning, how have thou fallen to the earth? That means Lucifer. Luke is sitting here telling you Lucifer has came to visit us. And why did Lucifer come to visit us? To give light to them that sit in darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the way of shalom. So when we sit back and look at it, Lucifer came down because we in darkness and in the shadow of death because we in our sins. To show us the way of shalom, which is to show us how to destroy him that has authority over chaos, sin, and death. We'll get into that in a lot more. Then he's saying the child waxed and grew strong in the Ruach and was in the desert till the day of his showing under Yasharal. See, I had a risk. I was going like this here. But see, that's something whole separate. I might have to wait for the Shabbat on that for everybody here at one time. Because this going to be a lot. You know what I'm saying? I say Todah Yah for Yahushua and the word. Appreciate everybody.